Quarter Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
I'm not, you know.
Me, you, me.
We found this out on the Monday Night Show. If you mute the microphone, you can't hear the audio.
I didn't realize I just did a blanket mute.
How you guys
Hey guys,
doing? What's up?
are either of you two have roads to the top one for Sammy's interview in between?
No.
Guess who he just announced as his first challenger next week?
Satan.
Bobby Fish.
Bobby
Fish.
Nice.
Wow.
On.
And then the Men of the Year walked in to fight with him, but still, Bobby Fish is his first challenger.
That's huge.
So,
We got a lot of shit to talk about.
We do.
I like that. How you guys doing?
Good. It's I mean it's Wednesday night. You know what that means, Matt.
It's the Mark Order Podcast.
That's right. It's the Mark Order Podcast, episode 27. It's the three amigos tonight. We can just actually, if we want to be cool, we could just call ourselves Migos.
I don't know how I feel about it. Do I look like somebody who walks around and says I'm part of something called Migos?
Do you know who Migos are?
No idea.
Oh my God. Schlong, do you know who Migos are?
I know of the Migos.
But,
isn't that the one that like Katy Perry did something on SNL with or something?
Yeah, but it's a rap group. They're pretty fucking famous.
I don't listen to rap.
It doesn't matter.
Why?
I know of them.
Matt, here's your fucking pop culture moment of the night.
Oh,
Migos is a rap group.
It's a rap group. It's not one person.
No, it's three of them.
Okay,
and,
three Migos. I see what they did there.
I don't know their names, but I think one of them is with Cardi B. Good luck to that gentleman. I don't know who the other guys are.
You don't know?
I guess.
Okay, good. So you're mad at me because I don't know who Migos are, but you don't know any of the members of Migos.
Why do I need to know the members of Migos?
I don't know. Why do I need to know what Migos is?
I mean, because it's culture.
That's not culture.
Sure it is. It's pop culture.
No, it's not.
You know, Mike Peterson says this is the return of the Matt, and I wish he'd fucking go away at this point.
I mean, I could easily go back to sitting in my chair with my cat.
No, don't do that. You're not that old. You're not old man Tony.
I was comfy. I ate some Reese's peanut butter cups.
I'm not gonna lie. I dozed off. I was out. And Gina was like, "You gotta get up." I was like, "Yeah, I do."
It's the I don't know, man. Fall is in the air. I don't know what it is. Fucking, it's exhausting. Everything's exhausting. Adulting is exhausting.
It is. You're right. Schlong, what are you up to? Matt and I are going on and on. What's going on with you in Philadelphia? You're talking about Flyers season tickets, and you have to go when they're good. That's a real fan thing to say.
No. You're taking that way out of context. Mike Peterson lives in Boston, so he says he hasn't been to a Flyers home game since Pronger played. I said it's not worth the trip until they're good, so you get the best crowd.
That's right. He hasn't been to a home game.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter to you because the Devils never have a crowd, but
it's not true. And
When
Do
they
have a
had their
few
parade in a parking lot and 3 people showed up.
It's also not true, but we also have cups to show for our team. When's the
Not
last time the
recently.
Flyers were relevant?
Not recently either. Yeah, I mean, both teams have nothing recently.
You haven't been relevant since the fucking 70s. And Eric Lindros, he was fun until Scott Stevens took his fucking head off.
Have to have a dirty
Oh.
player. I see how it is.
Dirty
have a dirty
player. Oh
dirty
my God.
fucking player.
Sorry, wasn't your whole thing in the 70s the Broad Street Bullies?
Thank
Matt,
you.
you stay out of this. You don't care about hockey.
That's not true.
Contraire, mon frere. I am in. I know the Devils won tonight in preseason hockey 5-4. They beat the Washington Capitals. Still confused about when the season starts. My calendar says October 12th. So I am excited. I think the Devils start on the 15th. Well, I'd have to check that, but I'm in on hockey this year. The Mets suck shit. The Dolphins are fucking trash. So I'm thinking like maybe I can get in on this hockey thing. Like I know the Devils aren't a good team, but I know they're a young team, so there's some promise there. Oh, the only person commenting you blocked for 5 minutes.
Oh fuck! I didn't know it was like a 5-minute thing. I thought that comment was just blocked. My bad, Mike Peterson. I was trying to be cute, but it didn't work.
Oh my God. Bunch of
Well,
where
we need to talk anyway. We
who?
can't be worrying about comments yet.
No.
We've got a lot of shit to get to.
Yeah. I'm going to put it out there. I don't know if people are aware of this, but Kate is not with us tonight because Kate is under the weather. So I know Ryan was trying to get people to give Kate some well wishes on the Twitter machine. Please do that. Give her your favorite ranking systems, whether it's college football, the AEW rankings. You want to pull up an old PWI from the 90s, throw those rankings at her. She's a rankings whore. So she loves the rankings. Throw them all at her, but wish her well. Kate's some
Guys, but
we got
that's
substitute.
hold on one second. I got to get Kate substitute for us.
Oh boy.
What is going? Do you know what is going on here?
Listen. They did this to me a couple weeks ago, where there was some video and nobody told me about it, and there was just beads of silence. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? So I have no idea. Oh my God. This is my night. This is a nightmare.
Well, don't you know I'm Rate the Great. I'm from Binghamton, New York.
Rate the Great. I have to say this. If you're listening to this in podcast form, you have to go fucking watch this now. You should be watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. But you gotta check out what the hell Ryan Schlong. Oh, I'm sorry. You gotta check out Rate the Great on the air right
Eddie
now.
Kingston and CM Punk. Don't you know? My accent kind of flounders because I'm from all over.
Wow. Kate?
Don't you know is very Midwest.
Well, haven't you been to Binghamton? They're kind of Midwest.
Wow.
Little Canadian.
I mean, geographically, it's not Midwest, but I'll give it to you, I guess.
No, even Kate. If you ever listen to Kate's accent, kind of goes a little Canadian, a little Midwest, a little whatever I'm doing.
You got a little, you got a little Irish thing going too, huh?
Yeah. What are you? What is this? Fargo? What are you doing?
Kate wanders the earth. I just take different accents.
Holy shit, this is amazing.
I won't be around for long now, but when we get to talking about Eddie Kingston rankings, I'll be back.
Okay, that's good.
So I will catch you all later. Don't you know?
All right.
Well, thanks, Rate the Great.
Rate the Great.
Oh my goodness.
Rate.
Asian Joe says that he can't unsee this. Dear God, his eyes. I'm with you. I'm with you, Asian Joe.
Wow.
What a crazy night, guys. What a crazy night.
Hey, your hat, is that team going to make it? They're kind of sputtering here at the end, huh?
No, not at all. They suck.
It's close. They just can't beat the Braves. I don't know where they are right now.
They are 2.5 games back, I think.
Yeah, I think it might be over.
It's over.
Although Bronxy the Rally Turtle's not working out great for us tonight.
Sorry, what? Who?
You didn't hear about the Yankees Rally Turtle.
Jesus Christ.
Nestor Cortez went out and rescued or adopted a turtle, and they have it with them. They have it with them. I don't know if they had it in this one because they went to Canada, but they had it on their road trip, and he was roaming the clubhouse, and they were 6-0, 7-0. It's Boxy the rally turtle.
You can't bring a fucking turtle across the border.
That's what I'm saying. So I guess not. So maybe not fuck Bronxy. Maybe Bronxy just didn't make the trip, and that's why they're not winning.
What's his name?
Bronxy.
Bronxy the turtle.
Yeah, like from the Bronx.
I know. I get what you're saying there. I get it.
At least one New York team has a chance of making it into the playoffs this year. I told you the Mets were going to Met earlier in the year.
I have not been watching the Mets since they lost to the Phillies. Just so you guys know, too, I don't know if we're aware of this. Because we switched over to the whole, there's no more Periscope and now Twitter videos. We don't have the luxury of seeing the comments on the Twitter videos show up in our StreamYard comment section yet.
That's right.
Really, they haven't added that?
No. So it's if you're watching on Twitter and you want to comment, you can head over to Facebook or tag us or something. We'll try to keep an eye out, but we can't pull them up here on screen. We got the YouTube going and the Facebook, which is nice. So yeah. But guys, we're not here to talk about baseball or turtles or superior metropolitan hockey teams. We're here to talk about AEW. So guys, we lived Friday Night Rampage last week, and they aired it. Now I didn't get to watch the full show. I just haven't had time to sit down and watch it. Did you guys get to actually watch it Friday night or after the fact?
I did.
No,
I thought it looked really good, and it sounded good. I actually still haven't had a chance to go sit down and watch the actual Dynamite. I got to go back and watch that Danielson Omega match in full, the TV cut, because live it was awesome. But I can't wait to see how they cut it on TV.
I watched it Monday before I did the podcast, and it was the only match I watched. It is just as good as it was live.
I mean,
real quick.
Yeah.
This is just for Ant. Mike Peterson switched to Facebook and said, "You can't get rid of me that easy."
I mean, we could easily block him again, but I'm not going to, Mike Peterson. I'm not going to. You can jump back. You can jump back on YouTube momentarily, or actually keep us open on both streams. It gives us more views, I guess. That's nice.
It's a good idea.
But yeah, I just haven't had a chance to kind of sit down and watch that. But I mean, Schlong and I talked about it last week. It was awesome live, but you know, the clips that I saw from TV, like it's always gonna look really good on TV. You'd hope, you know, because we got to see things from an angle we couldn't see it, or we were seeing things from angles that obviously were playing better on TV. But all I heard from everybody was how fantastic it was to watch on TV. But I was like, man, it was totally different in person. It was even the atmosphere, I think, helped build that live. It was so fucking awesome. But yeah, so I didn't get to see the Rampage. Schlong watched Rampage. You said it was good. Schlong, what do you want to talk about as far as Rampage goes? That first match, CM Punk and Powerhouse Hobbs. Punk wins by pinfall on the go to sleep. Live, we had that scary moment where Hobbs had that, like, oh shit, Hurricane Rana, where he could have easily fractured his neck. That look as bad on TV as it did live.
Yes, you basically saw how close it came to. Just, you know, Punk kind of caught it on his knees, but it was bad. His head was definitely in a spike position. If the knees didn't catch the as well as it did, that would have been really ugly. But other than that very ugly spot, that match looked great on TV. Looked great in person. They really made Will Hobbs with that one.
Yeah, and I think, like Matt, this is something we had been kind of talking about. I think since Punk came in, and Adam Cole and Danielson, the fact that all these guys are talking about this young talent and now like going on to work with them. Like we're gonna talk about the card tonight with Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy, but like CM Punk's first match Darby Allin, second match Powerhouse Hobbs. That has to say something for that homegrown talent. Oh boy, Rate the Great's back. We'll get to you in a second, but that has to say something, Matt, about that homegrown talent and what these guys think of it, huh?
Absolutely, and man, the sky's the limit for what these guys are going to do. And I talked about it Monday night. Like, I don't think Daniel Bryan or CM Punk need a belt, so having them there to help elevate this younger, maybe unknown talent that the mainstream wrestling fan might not be familiar with. Let's be real here. There are people out there that only watch the WWE. So if they decide they're going to jump ship and watch or take a chance to watch Daniel Bryan or CM Punk work AEW, and they see him in there working with a younger talent, I think it'll only help educate the wrestling fans. So when you see CM Punk in there with a powerhouse hop, regardless of the fact that he's kind of green still, he looks like a fucking $1,000,000 and he has some super crazy powerful moves. So maybe that's something that brings people over. Same thing with the Darby Allin thing. So I think it's a no-brainer for these guys to want to work with these younger guys.
I agree. And now that Rate the Great is back, Rate, what would you like to rank for us? I assume your whole gimmick is wanting to rank things. Is that correct? You're muted?
I don't know. I can't hear him at all.
No. Sorry, Rate the Great.
Did you mute me?
Nope.
How dare you? I'm now a Valley girl. Being muted turns me into a Valley girl. I rank things or I talk about CM Punk, and this is about CM Punk, and CM Punk was amazing. He kicked butt. Did you see him do that elbow? No one does it better. I love CM Punk. I cried a little. Okay, I cried a lot. But I love CM Punk. I rank him as my number one wrestler. I disagree, Matt Bowman. This is amazing.
Easy with the, I guess people see my last name. Never mind.
Yeah, put it as a comment.
Well, I don't know. Someone keeps making comments under the Mark Order Podcast Facebook, and I don't know if it's you guys or if it's the real.
It is the person I'm replacing because I'm better. But I just want to say CM Punk number 1, Eddie Kingston number 2, Colt Cabana number 3, MJF number 4.
Really?
I haven't decided on my 5 yet, but I'll get there.
What about Pretty Peter Avalon?
Yeah, I was gonna say no PPA.
I'm just gonna fuck him, guys. He's not on my list. He's on my fuck list.
Now
There's different lists. I
do have, I guess, a real ranking list that I'd like to get your opinion on, since you said nobody throws an elbow better. Can you rank your top 5 elbows? Now, it doesn't have to be a flying elbow. Like Jericho throws the Judas Effect. That's an elbow. Can you rank your top 5 elbows in wrestling?
CM Punk off the top rope, CM Punk standing, CM Punk when he does a middle rope, CM Punk off the apron, CM Punk from the ground when occasionally he throws it off the ground. It's always CM Punk.
Wow, this is...
how about his commentary?
I don't have the time. We'll be here all night as I just rave on how good of a talker he is. Brought me into wrestling.
Can't wait.
Matt, you seem upset.
Nope, I'm good. I was just, trying to get through this Rampage discussion. Rate the Great showed up again.
Just like Kate the Great, Rate the Great just takes fucking forever to get through her shit.
Listen, I'm not coming back for the Eddie Kingston match, so be happy.
Rate, did you get that wig at Maury's?
No, it was Amazon overnight.
Wow, holy shit, you overnighted that from Amazon?
It was $1.
Wow. That was $1.
It was $15 for the wig and $1 to overnight. $16 for this bit is worth it.
For who?
This girl.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Was
I'll
it
be
not
back for the
available
official.
on Prime?
I just found out I was substituting last night.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair. That's a fair point, I guess.
I'll be back for the rankings, guys.
Can't
Well,
wait.
bad news. I don't have rankings. They didn't put rankings out.
Foiled again. Well, goodbye.
All right. See you later, Rate the Great.
Yeah.
It's a weird
Go
first
shit in a
name.
hat.
Yeah. Rate. Rate.
My gosh. Well, Matt, thank God Rate has left our show for the moment.
Oh,
we also-
Unrelated to anything happening, for some odd reason, unrelated to anything, gonna be picking wig hair out of my mouth all night.
wow. If Rate the Great comes back, Asian Joe has a great FMK. Jesus Christ.
Asian Joe is asking Rate the Great. Oh, Jesus Christ. We should have just held this. Rate the Great wants an FMK between Ant, Money, Matt, and Ryan. He wants to see how meta we can get here. This will take 40 minutes to get through.
What, can I ask a question, Anthony?
Yes, you can.
What does meta mean? Is this do I know? I'm gonna look up the definition.
Go ahead. All right, Rate the Great.
I'm
We'll put it
killing
up
all
again.
you motherfuckers. Not one of you is good enough for this body.
That's not how it works, fuckface.
But you know
Fine.
what? You know what,
Fine,
Matt?
Matt.
That is what the original KTG would do. She'd be like, I'll
It's not
kill
true.
all of you.
She said she would fuck Pretty Peter Avalon.
She actually said, I'll kill
Yes,
all of
but
you.
we're doing
She
well,
should be
fine.
sleeping.
I will marry and make love to that sweet, sweet piece of ass Ryan. And kill you two motherfuckers, okay?
No, you have to fuck one of us, stupid. That's how the game is
I've
played.
already fucked Ryan.
No,
No.
that's not how this works.
Well, clearly I fucked him in a lot of ways. We just don't realize that yet.
Meta is short for Medikey? I don't know.
No, that's
Matthew, I can't marry you. You're too sassy.
Easy with the fucking full name there. Great.
Matthew?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
What?
I've already lost control. We're
And this was not me this time.
I know. Do you know the funny thing here, guys? If I can be Chris Jericho and break the walls down. Gina said to me tonight, who's going to be on? I said, well, Kate's not feeling well, so it's just going to be the three amigos. And Gina said, so do you guys think you'll be done sooner than you normally are? And I said to Gina, my shoot quote was, probably not, because Matt pulls us way off track sometimes. Never in a million years would I have guessed that Ryan and Rate the Great would pull us way off track tonight.
Oh my God. Rhiannon just walked in the room, pointed, and said, is that supposed to be Kate? And then shook her head and walked out.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Well, I'm glad it's not me. So what else happened on Rampage?
Well, we also had the Super Click, Matthew. Adam Cole, baby, and the Young Bucks defeating Christian Cage and Jurassic Express via pinfall. It was definitely a fun match to see live. Again, I didn't see it on TV, but I thought it was great live.
I did not get to see it on TV either. I was busy working, but live, holy shit. Holy shit, are those guys fucking great. What a match. What a match. I'm sure it played just as well on TV, but man, live, the fluidity that the Bucks and Adam Cole and Jungle Boy and Christian and Luchasaurus, they all move. It's like watching like a beautiful dance. It's just like they're so fluid and they make it look so easy. It was such a great match live. So I'm sure it played well on the TV box.
It did. Looked amazing. You can even hear, though, on TV just how loud the crowd was for Adam Cole, which was insane because by that point in the night, crowd wasn't quiet, but I didn't think they'd get to that level again. And then, goddamn, if they did.
It was a fucking long night.
Yeah.
Holy shit, was it a long night?
It definitely was a long night. But I mean, where I kind of started losing it was around the next match, Men of the Year. Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky defeating Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. Not because it wasn't a good match, it was just such a long night. I had to get up, take a walk, grab a drink, but it was a good match. And then afterwards, Jericho and Hager are able to drag Lambert into the ring, to get some payback on him. But the top team, American top team, came out to surround the ring. There's a melee. Arlovsky and Junior Dos Santos brawl with Jericho and Hager. Paige Van Zant works Jericho over with some punches to the midsection. And then Jorge Masvidal recreates the knee that knocked out Ben Askren on Jericho. So a lot of MMA guys in the ring. And I said it that night, guys, I just really don't want to see MMA guys in the ring in wrestling. I know that there's guys, like Hager's got MMA experience, but I don't view him as an MMA guy. Brock is a wrestler for the E. He's an MMA guy. He's able to pull it off. I don't want to see the MMA guys transition to wrestling necessarily. It doesn't excite me. I'm not that into MMA. Is this work for you guys? Was this exciting?
For me, no. I'm kind of on board with you. I thought the match was good, and I didn't mind the outcome. I even didn't mind the stuff afterwards felt like it took for fucking ever. Like it felt like it took them forever to come out of the crowd because they came from every different direction. I kind of get what they're trying to do because when you have Masvidal, who's like huge in the UFC, like a crossover, and SportsCenter can pick it up, and maybe down the line you do something with him and Jericho. I get it. I don't like it. I don't want it. I like Dan Lambert. I like what he's doing. I just don't want to see this whole like what's the payoff? A wrestler beats an MMA fighter?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. This whole thing doesn't interest me. Like, I get that people are into the Dan Lambert angle. I'm not into that either. So this whole thing this is one of the things that they're currently doing that just I'm not really into. So this whole thing is lost on me. Like I said, I'm not that into MMA. So like I'm not the key here. That stuff just doesn't do anything for me. Schlong, what about you? Is this, does this get you going at all?
Not really. I mean, I don't mind Lambert in terms of he's not the worst, but he's just with the wrong guys in the sense that those two guys don't need him. They do so well on their own. I think he'd be better used with, real quick, Mike Peterson commenting the payoff is no one cares. Probably true. But I think Lambert would be better used with the heel who can't talk, not two guys who are great on the mic, as we heard tonight. The MMA stuff, this to me is like one of those things where I'm not exactly into it. If I look at it objectively, I get why they're doing it. Like I see the logic. This is solely a business thing. Like Matt said, get some ESPN coverage, get some crossover effect. But for me, no. The only way they can do this so that I don't really that I don't hate it, I should say, is as long as they treat wrestling and MMA as on the same level. Once you try to get meta with it and be like, well, this is real fighting versus then you're killing the in-universe story. Like I have to suspend my disbelief and engage in your story. So if you start telling me one is real and one is fake, then you lose me. So I hope they avoid that.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Even when they start on Hager, like, being an MMA guy, I'm kind of like, he had, like, 2 fucking matches, right? Like, he's not really an MMA guy. Like, I don't know. Again, I used to watch UFC and stuff like that, not, like, Die Hard, and I couldn't tell you much about all those guys, but just, like, it's just lost on me. I don't know.
It's fair.
I think you're dead on. Yeah, I don't
Oh.
think there's much to add to that.
No, sorry, Matt. You look like you were going to say something. I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you're good.
We had Lucha Brothers and Santana and Ortiz defeat Private Party, the Butcher and the Blade, via pinfall. This was definitely a fun match, and Santana and Ortiz with the hometown pop. Just my God, the place went crazy for them. Shalong, did that come across on television? I hope it did.
It did. I will say, I think what came across on television is something I noticed that night, but wasn't really thinking about. The Lucha Brothers are very over. I mean, their pop was almost right there with Santana and Ortiz, and they're not the hometown boys. Like, they get very loud chants. Now, obviously, once you see them wrestle, you get it. Like, I've never not enjoyed one of their matches. But you knew Santana and Ortiz coming out was special, and the way they painted their face, and that was such a fun match. I think the match actually played a little bit better on TV than it did in person, and I think it played fine in person. But there was a couple of those like setup spots, like where the four of them leapt on to the other four, and when you see that stuff in person, you have to give it a second because you see everyone kind of standing around. Well, on TV, they did a much better job of the edits so that you didn't see guys just standing there. So I think that match actually improved on TV, and we really liked it in person. So
Yeah, it was really good in person, but it sounds like the edits on TV were probably helped it seem, even maybe a little kind of quicker pace with cuts and stuff like that, where guys aren't standing around. Matt, you were into this match there live, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is to Ryan's point. I don't think you realize how over the Lucha Brothers are. We kind of figured it out at All Out, but goddamn, being there live, they were over in Newark, and they were over last Wednesday in Queens, or Friday night, whatever the fuck. I can't keep track of all this shit. But the match was a lot of fun. I was super, on a personal level, super happy for Santana and Ortiz, because I've known those guys for quite a bit of time, and just to see them get to go out there and perform in front of the Queens crowd was pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. And actually, I think it was Elevation this week. Shlong, just remind me if I'm wrong. On Elevation this week, because they filmed it at Arthur Ashe. After Elevation, they had like that special look back at Arthur Ashe, didn't they? They did a whole thing. I think they talked to them, but they also talked to Eddie Kingston and Homicide. And Homicide was talking about like pro wrestling in New York City, and how this is a super special moment for like him and Eddie. Eddie brought Homicide in because Homicide helped Eddie kind of get into it, and then Santana and Ortiz, like, it was a very special moment for all of them, which was pretty awesome. You should check out Elevation if you haven't. There's a couple quick matches, but the post video that they did highlighting Arthur Ashe was pretty awesome. We had a couple segments after this. We don't need to dig in, but they did a backstage with Matt Hardy and Jack Evans. So we line up the Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans hair versus hair match coming up this Friday night. We also had Sammy Guevara and Fuego del Sol come out to do the cue card bit, but Miro came up behind them, destroyed them both. Fuego got thrown off the stage. He deserved it. And Guevara ends up passing out in the game over, setting up their match tonight. So they're building to that. And the other thing that happened was Andrade El Idolo got a video to say that he wants a rematch against Pac, because he's dealt with Chavo, and he's made sure that Jose knows not to get involved with his matches. So I don't know what's going on with Pac, guys. Like, he hasn't been on TV. I haven't seen anything about him being hurt. I don't know if he traveled back home or to the UK or something like that. But haven't seen Pac in a while. I wish we got to see Pac a little more consistently, because I actually would like to see him and Andrade go again, and even maybe a third time. But it's kind of disappointing we haven't seen Pac since their match.
Yeah, very disappointing. I don't know why. I haven't heard anything. I haven't read anything. So it's definitely disappointing.
I feel like he must go home a lot.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, like, I haven't seen anything. like nothing with where he is, and we'll, it came up tonight again. Like, where's Pac? And we'll talk about that as we go through the night. But it's just weird. Like, Pac's great, and I wish we got to just see him more. So kind of disappointing. We had Penelope Ford defeating Anna Jay via pinfall. Penelope Ford, or the bunny distracted the referee to get Penelope the brass knuckles for the win. Tay Conti tried to make the save after the pin, but she also took brass knuckles. And then the Hardy family office comes out for celebration, and then Orange Cassidy comes out with Chris Statlander and the Dark Order, and things kind of break down from there. So they were clearly lining up that match that we got on TV tonight. Tay J versus Penelope Ford and the Bunny, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Our main event, we got Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer. Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston wind up getting the win. It was a lights out match. Now, I'll say this. The lights out there live was pretty fucking fast. I think they turned off one light and then flipped it right back on. But, man, what a crazy match. Matt, this was up your alley, right? Like, this is totally in your wheelhouse. I thought this match was a lot of fun, a lot of action the whole time, and it's going to lead to something else here.
Yes, it is. I fucking loved everything about this, with the exception of the result. I get it. But, I had to listen to you fucking hand jobs for weeks. Eddie Kingston's going to win the TNT Championship in Queens. Proud and Powerful are going to win the tag titles in Queens.
I'm cutting you off here because, first of all, who hurt you? Like, who hurt you as a child to make you this cynical? Second of all, only one of us predicted a win at Queens, and that was Kate predicting the Eddie Kingston. The rest of us just said, wouldn't it be cool? As if, we thought of really cool things. Like, how dare we want to enjoy our experience? How dare we?
Look, let's be honest here. Eddie Kingston is just he's a trios guy now, okay? All right? He had no right to be in the ring with Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer. All right, I know. That's fine. That's fine. Make a face, schlong. You put your fucking wig back on. Yeah, Kate says defend her with the wig on. Ryan, go get Rate to Kate. Whatever the fuck your fucking dumb new gimmick is.
What I find funny, Matt, is he also doesn't change his name. It just stays Ryan. Like, change your name. Anyway.
But the match was fucking awesome, and we're gonna get it again in Philadelphia for New Japan Pro Wrestling. All four guys, it was just a fucking brutal match. Homicide showing up was unbelievable. For him to have that moment, and then the stuff afterwards, after the camera stopped rolling, where Eddie Kingston was like, I don't give a shit if this goes past midnight. He had to say his piece was super fucking cool and a lot of fun. I really was just being a dick. I did not mean to bring Rate the Great.
You fucking brought me back. How fucking dare you? I love that.
So I'm going to pretend
I thought in his hometown that he'd get a fucking win for a title. How fucking dare you? Go watch your Japanese wrestling. No one cares. No one cares.
Now, I know Kate is well schooled in this, so I'm not going to say anything about your comment about the Japanese wrestling rate, because I think Kate knows Eddie Kingston is a big fan of the four pillars of All Japan Pro Wrestling, and he uses a lot of their moves during his matches. So I will refrain from nobody cares about Japanese wrestling, because I know Kate would never say anything like that. Rate.
Kate'll say whatever she has to say, because guess what? Eddie Kingston is God. Well, just below CM Punk. There's CM Punk, and then there's Eddie Kingston. But he belongs in that ring as much as anyone else, okay? People paid for Eddie Kingston. No one paid for Suzuki.
You don't think people paid to see Suzuki?
He wasn't announced till last minute.
I mean, they didn't announce Daniel Bryan and Kenny Omega till last minute, and that didn't really move a bunch of tickets either. So
But you know who people knew would be there? Eddie fucking Kingston.
Are you sure?
Well, yeah, he's been on the roster for like a year.
Okay. Thanks, Ray.
You're
This
welcome.
This has really run its course. My goodness. Let's not say. Let's not bring the name up again, Matt. Who else is goddamn Matt? Oh my god!
Got my head.
I'm telling you, people, you gotta watch. If you're not watching this, you have to watch. Yeah. So Shalong, as Matt said, this is leading to the New Japan show in Philly at the old 2300. A rematch, Moxley and Eddie versus Suzuki and Archer again. That should be pretty exciting, huh?
It should be very exciting. I want to shout out my boy Asian Joe. He said people sang Suzuki's song. Kingston doesn't even get his entrance music anymore. Yeah, how do you like that? Eddie Kingston's coming out the fucking Wild thing. That's not even his song.
I don't know why you're coming at me. Rate left. I heard the door slam. I'm not getting right back.
Please,
There's too much drama.
Lock
Please.
the fucking door. Barricade
too
yourself
much-
in that room.
There's too much drama there. But
Mike
I
Peterson
wanna-
is asking what Rate's up to.
she's probably going to see one of her many, many suitors. But she gets around. What can I say?
What do you live in a bordella?
Della.
Oh my god.
Hello?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Shlong. Hit your point.
I don't have one at this stage. We can just move on.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
my Monday night buddy Kevin Garifo shows up. He says Darby came out to it tonight too. Everybody comes out to Wild Thing. Nobody comes out to their songs anymore. Nobody.
Well, when
Actually,
you buy the music, when you license the music, I guess you want to get every dollar you can out of it, every use you can out of it
Yeah,
for your
but
dollars.
you license it per use, so you think you wouldn't want to use it a ton.
Well, I don't know what the terms are.
You ain't got that Tony Khan money, son. He don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, it was an exciting Rampage to experience live. Old Man Tony says, "I want everyone to come out to Tarzan Boy." Who doesn't? It's a great goddamn song.
Wait.
I'm sorry. He means literally come out. Well, you know.
Good for them if they do. I want to point out the Flyers were testing out new goal songs. Tarzan Boy was one of them.
Well, that song's no longer cool. So
That's what it took.
that's it.
Oh, you guys suck. No fun in this place.
I don't know if that was Ryan or was that Rate. I don't know what that was that just happened that came out.
There's no hair. There's no hair. It's
Yeah, but
Ryan.
you're like, oh my god, you guys suck.
Oh my god, you guys suck.
Yeah, it wasn't like that though. It was like if you were tweener, bro. You get better fucking. God damn it, Chris Canyon.
Method.
Over there.
Method,
Jesus.
Matt. I'm method.
Do I have to look this up too?
You don't know what method acting is?
Okay.
What do you really? I don't even know where to go anymore. I don't know what to do. I've lost control very fast tonight.
Well, you can
We
thank
can just
Rate.
move on.
You can thank Rate for that.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll have to thank Rate. Well, I mean, honestly, guys, because we're not talking dark on here anymore. That's really all we wanted to cover. In our first segment, we got way off the rails with Rate the Great. And I can't believe of all the nights to not have rankings released, it's the night when Rate the Great is here. We can come up with some other ranking system if you can find Rate the Great again.
It can't be forced. Has to be natural.
You cannot complain about being off the rails and then constantly being like, we could do this if Rate the Great comes back.
Well, listen, I don't know what Ryan had planned. I clearly didn't know he had Rate the Great.
Either did I, buddy.
You think I had a plan beyond just putting the fucking thing on?
Kayfabe, bro. Don't ruin the gimmick.
I didn't say what. Maintaining the spoiler.
Well, I don't know. All I
I
know
don't know either.
All I know is that I think we're going to take a little break here, try to reset. But before we go to break, don't forget to follow us on social at Mark Order Pod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're on Twitch. Somebody's trying to get us unlocked because we're locked out. We don't know why. But follow us on our platforms. We're adding content all the time. Schlong is doing wonders on the Twitter machine. Most of the time, if you're talking to somebody on Twitter, it's the Rye guy. So thank you, Ryan, for the Twitter work. Also, if you would like some Mark Order podcast stickers, send us a DM. Send us a name and address of where I can send some stickers, and I'll send them out to you right away. We've got a whole bunch of people who already received their stickers. I want to thank them for writing to me. And Ryan's got his sticker right there. He's holding up for y'all. And you guys, actually, somebody hit me up that on the Smacked Raw podcast on Monday, they did a little shout out on their Twitter or their Twitch feed, sharing the letter that we send out and the stickers. He actually he put the sticker on his laptop so you could see it nice when he has his computer screen open. So thanks to those guys for supporting. We support you guys too. So if you want to support us, just hit us up, DM us your name, address on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and we'll get those stickers right back out to you. But for now, Matthew, why don't we take a little break and hear about some of the other fine shows on the Shining Wizards Network.
Everyone knows a lot of things can change in the span of 10 years, but when it comes to professional wrestling podcasting, one thing is still guaranteed. The Shining Wizards is the only place to get all the latest wrestling news, interviews with the greatest guests, and of course, tons of laughs in discussing the world of wrestling. The show is still available on Monday nights at 7 p.m. East on rantemradio.com and Rant Entertainment Media on the TuneIn app. And it's still available on all podcasting platforms. To check us out, head over to shiningwizards.com, where it's still wrestling talk and talk about wrestling.
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
Horns up, everyone. One on the Shining Wizards Network. Be sure every Friday to check out Radioactive Metal. Radioactive Metal is one of the longest running podcasts on the interweb. And every week we bring you a fistful of metal, including interviews with all your favorite artists, discuss all the metal news, and feature the best tunes on the air today. So grab a Lemmy, join your cool Uncle Snowy, and co-host Aaron in the pit.
Your recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment broadcasting from the current to the way back. Join the impact player Phil Rea and the Portuguese Man of War Chape for the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast, live every week on rantemradio.com. Get all our episodes over at iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Audio Boom, Google Play, ShiningWizardsNetwork.com, and TurnbuckleThrowbacks.com.
Are you tired of being told what to think and believe by Hollywood elites and politicians who just don't care about you?
Tired of not getting the truth when you watch the news?
Tired of trying to figure out what pronoun to use?
Tired of mob mentality when all you want to do is think for yourself and make up your own mind?
That's where we come in. This is Justin.
And Vince.
Your hosts of Inconclusive Breakdown.
We are a weekly anti-PC podcast bringing you entertainment and current event news without any spin.
If you want to truly stay informed on what's going on in the world, then give us a listen every Sunday, anywhere you get podcasts, at least till Zuckerberg and Twitter Jack deplatform us.
And as always, we're proud members of the Shining Wizards Network.
Tired of the PC police telling you what you can and cannot say? Want a show that travels back to the 80s and 90s where the badass hosts have beaten down cancel culture on 3 separate occasions and carried on to gloat about it? Since 2013, The Midnight Jury is that show. Travel back to the malls and arcades, pop in your VHS, and join us where the 80s and 90s return from the dead. Conan, tell them where to find us.
WLWstudios.com, home of the Midnight Jury podcast hosted by Midnight Mike and Calvin Brody.
Also available on all major podcast platforms via the Shining Wizards Network, and join in the conversation on Twitter at Midnight Jury.
What's up, wrestling fans? You want something awesome? Check out Wrestling Night in Canada here on the Shining Wizards Network. We're 3 Canadian metalheads uniting for the love of pro wrestling. Every episode we go over all the latest news and special events with the odd unique interview as well. So grab a cold one and check out Wrestling Night in Canada, eh?
Hey, we're back. So guys, we were talking about it before. We don't have any rankings tonight, so we're going to just dive right into Dynamite. And Dynamite was a special show tonight. They were in Rochester, New York. They were supposed to be in Rochester over a year ago, where Matt Hardy and Brody Lee were supposed to both make their debut for the company. Didn't happen. So Brody never got his hometown pop, and got that experience, in front of a full live crowd. So it was a little bittersweet, but they did open up the show tonight with a memorial graphic for the late, great Brody Lee, and then they do their intro. So tonight, it was announced, I think fairly late, that CM Punk was going to join commentary for tonight's show. So he came out, took all his personality, did his thing, while commentary kind of talked about Brody Lee a little bit, and the fact that they're back in Rochester after a very long wait. And then we get right into our first match, and boy, oh boy, I don't know when they announced this. I don't remember seeing this until this week, maybe even today. But we open the show with Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And man, the crowd was lit right from the start. Adam Cole's, boom and Adam Cole baby louder than ever. Actually, I think this week, Adam Cole's song was #1 on iTunes. So he is way over in AEW. And then the crowd was way into Jungle Boy making his entrance. As we kind of cut through this match, we'll give the quick result here. Adam Cole wins by pinfall with the running knee to the back of the head. After Cole is able to mule kick a low blow to Jungle Boy's nether regions. So a little bit of a dirty win here for Adam Cole, but that's true heel fashion for the super elite. Post-match, the elite comes down to the ring to celebrate, and then they go to break. We'll get to that segment after this, but Schlong, hot start to the night, huh?
That was an amazing match. Wow, they really do start their shows excellently. They just seem to understand. Put on 2 great performers, let them go. Jungle Boy is awesome. I mean, we could talk all night about how great Adam Cole is. I think it's pretty obvious how over he is and how popular he, and how good he is. But Jungle Boy is very over too and very good in the ring. He is one of their top baby faces. Matt, I know you couldn't, because of work, couldn't see it. I would suggest going back, and if you're going to be able to watch anything, this first match is the one to definitely watch. I mean, it was everything you expect from these two, and it was well thought out. And even though it ends with the low blow, since there was no outside interference, there was no shenanigans. It was just Cole kind of outsmarting Jungle Boy. Doesn't feel wrong. It doesn't feel like, oh God, one of these, because it just seems like a heel being smarter than his younger opponent, rather than, oh great, we have 30 elite guys coming out. They didn't come out until after the match.
Yeah, it's really been great to see with some of these elite matches that there's been no no bullshit to the finishes, right? Like there's been no outside interference. While some of it may have been dirty, like the win tonight. There was no interference from the outside. Adam Cole was by himself. Same thing with even last week. We talked about Dynamite, Danielson, Kenny Omega. No interference from anybody, not even the invisible hand Don Callis. So lately they've been doing things right. And a couple things just to call out. Again, Matt, definitely check this match out. But there was a sick Frankensteiner over the ropes to the floor from Jungle Boy on Adam Cole. Adam Cole hits the Panama Sunrise, and Jungle Boy actually kicks out. The snare trap gets put on Adam Cole, and he gets out of it. He doesn't necessarily get out of it on his own. He finds a moment where Jungle Boy has to kind of regrip and pull him back from beyond, the reach of the ropes. So it still is a hold that nobody's really gotten out of. But it was just a really well thought out match, and just really fun and exciting, because it really could have gone either way. Schlong, there were a couple moments where I was like, holy shit, they're going to let Jungle Boy go over here. Like, they easily could have had him go over.
I'm with you. There was moments in that match I'm like, I didn't see it coming, but I wouldn't have been surprised that the match was going that way. When he put him in the snare trap and was pulling him back, I really thought they were going to let him sink it in, and that was going to be it. It was awesome. It's definitely a must watch.
Yeah, for sure. So this, another hot start for Dynamite. They just really know how to start their shows off really hot. As I said, the Elite came down to the ring, and after the commercial, they get on the mic. Carl Anderson's there tonight. He's not in the back rubbing one out. And he says that to be Elite, you have to have the Impact World Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers. You have to have Adam Cole. You have to have the champion, Kenny Omega, AEW World Champion, Kenny Omega. And you have to have the greatest tag team that's ever stepped foot in the ring. That's the Young Bucks, even though they're not the tag champs anymore. They are EVPs, extremely violent people. And then Adam Cole gets on the mic. And then also, Knock and Cutler. Adam Cole grabs the mic and says he's now beat. He'd beat the. Adam Cole says that he said he'd beat Jungle Boy, and he did. He's undefeated. Nick Jackson winds up giving the microphone to Knock because he can cut the best promo in all of wrestling. But all that gets a CM Punk chance, and CM Punk does not, grab a mic. But Kenny Omega goes on to say that his telephone has been ringing off the hook. His social media has been blowing up, saying the same thing, and that's basically his match against Bryan Danielson was the greatest match they'd ever seen. And he says, that's cool, but see if he cares, because Danielson took him to his limit and cashed in on his promise, and he kicked his head in, but he couldn't get the job done when it counted. The other problem is he has a 0 record, and he's never seeing him face-to-face in that ring again. That's when the Dragon makes his entrance and asks the crowd if they want to see a rematch. And Kenny says, Kenny doesn't have the balls to give him a rematch. And that officially gives him the chance to call him Kenny No Balls Omega, to which the crowd starts chanting No Balls. So basically, as this kind of continues on, Danielson basically says that he'll take on anybody in the Elite on Rampage. Omega says, why don't we just do it right now? And Bryan Danielson says that if they want to see a fight, he's not coming alone. And Kazarian, Christian Cage, and Jurassic Express come down to the ring to join him, but the Elite run off, leaving the faces standing in the ring. And that's the end of that segment. So this issue clearly is not over with Danielson and the Elite. And then we actually wind up finding out later in the night that we're actually going to get Nick Jackson versus Danielson on Rampage Friday night, which should be a pretty good match. Schlong, any take on this promo? Do you think this thing worked? There were a couple moments where I feel like it was going a little long, but they were able to kind of reel it back in. Was this good for you?
I liked when Anderson was just like, knock and color. That made me laugh so hard because it was so casual. And the fact that you have an arena full of people chanting no balls. I'm 12 when I hear that. I start laughing. It's funny to me. Yeah, they were starting to go long and they kicked it back. Other than that, and I don't say this in a negative way, pretty standard promo, but it's kind of what you need from these guys at this point because obviously this thing isn't done. It was what was needed for this Dynamite.
Yeah, and so Matt, I know you didn't necessarily see it, but the thought of Nick Jackson versus Danielson on Friday night, I mean, I'll take it. Is that good for you?
100%. If you're gonna do this this elite versus this American Dragon team, I mean, shit, why not? Look, Nick Jackson is no slouch. We know what he's capable of doing in a tag team setting. You throw him in there with the Dragon. I think that's a great second opponent for Bryan Danielson. I think it's going to be a hell of a match. Just slam that down louder next time, please.
My apologies. Yeah, I mean, I think it's
is there a fucking train somewhere? Someone live near a train?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I'm hearing.
My window's open because this room's so hot and it's so
I'm
cold.
just making sure I'm not losing my goddamn mind.
It's funny, I don't hear it at all.
Amazing.
That's crazy.
It's actually pretty far now, but it's amazing that was actually coming through. Because it's very faint in the back. Guess I got a good mic. But yeah, I think that match Friday night is going to be great too, and I think that for people who maybe are interested in seeing kind of what's next for Danielson, that this is a nice kind of follow up to that Kenny Omega. Mike Peterson says they were definitely yelling Kenny no balls at one point. Yeah, that is totally true. And it was a lot of fun. And I think even CM Punk says, "There's your shirt." So it will be amazing if we do see some Kenny no ball shirts. But moving on from this, we do get Andrade or the Lucha Brothers being interviewed backstage, and Andrade rolls in and asks, "Where's Pac?" And his aide Jose points out that it's been a while since the Lucha Brothers defended those AAA tag team titles. And Andrade says that he has many luchador friends who would be happy to take them away. And the Lucha Brothers say they'll defend them anytime, anywhere. So I guess that begs the question, because honestly, I don't know who this kind of mystery team could be. I'm not super familiar with AAA. I don't think it has to be a AAA team. Any thoughts as to maybe who they're going to have fight the Lucha Brothers for those AAA titles? Schlong, you're smiling. Do you have any idea?
I'm not gonna, as much as I love Rate and I'm gonna keep shut and say this would have been the perfect chance for a sick Kate to come in and start singing LFO, because of her voice LFI, who she's been calling for like 8 months.
Yeah, but you're not getting it because Roosh is out. Roosh had that.
Oh, I know. But it just, unfortunately, when you say you're bringing friends, it makes me think. But don't they have other members to that they could bring over?
Look, with all due respect, I don't want to see Bastia in the fucking ring.
Okay, fair.
Dragon Lee's awesome. Dragon Lee Bastia. No, I think you're gonna get like something like a Psycho Clown, maybe Laredo Kid.
I've seen Psycho Clown. He's interesting.
He hangs out with Monster Clown and Murder Clown, so bring the whole clown family in.
Why not just bring in the ICP? Yeah.
I'm also not up on my AAA, so there could be, fucked if I know, tons of people.
Well, I don't even know if it needs to be AAA, right? Like, is there just anybody hanging out there we think they could bring in for a match against the Lucha Brothers?
I mean, if that door is open with Impact, I mean, there's Black Taurus, there's Laredo Kid, there's fuck, I don't know. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, he didn't even drop a hint. He's just like, I know a lot of luchadors who want to take those belts, So it's not even like it could be narrowed down. He didn't drop anything. So it's just kind of hanging out there. It'll be interesting to see who it is and when they plan to do it, because it's not happening Friday night.
As long as it's not the fucking Los Parks from MLW, then we're good.
All right, I'll agree with you there. So moving on from this, we get a tag match: Dante Martin and Matt Sydal versus the Nightmare Family, Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson. And Cody and Lee have Arn Anderson and Brandy in their corner. As we kind of cut to the end. What was that?
Yay.
Well, I'll say this, Matthew. As the match is going to get started, there is clearly some friction between Arn Anderson and Cody. And Cody's just trying to kind of like jump in the ring and get things started, and Arn's like not on the same page at all. As we cut to the end of this match, the Nightmare Family does win by pinfall with a cross leg brainbuster over the knee from Lee Johnson on Dante Martin. Lee Johnson kind of tagged himself in and just kind of ended things here. So Cody kind of looked a little upset, but didn't really act on it. And post-match, they're interviewed in the ring by Tony Schiavone. And Cody says he knows, as he's getting booed, says that he knows the audience has waited a long time for this show, and he wants to have Malachi Black come out right now. But Arn Anderson tells him to stop talking because on July 7th, Malachi came into their life and has systematically destroyed them. The first time, Malachi destroyed Cody, and he starts taking off his boot. What was that about? The second time, Cody's getting rolling. He's ready to finish him and then goes to roll out the ring to check on Arn. Arn says that Cody should have won that match. Black is an assassin and a predator who will do anything to destroy his opponent. He'd step in and take the fight, but Arn's just too damn old. But there is a difference, Matthew, between Cody and Arn. That's if Cody gets carjacked, that Cody steps aside and says, "Take my car." But Arn Anderson pulls out the Glock and turns the tables, puts the gun up against his head, and blows his brains out.
Sorry, what?
And then he leaves with Lee Johnson saying that at least Lee will listen to him. And they go to break. So, trouble in paradise with the Nightmare Family. Arn Anderson clearly not on the same page and basically calling Cody Rhodes a little bitch. Cody Rhodes also very interesting. Just negative reactions all around to Cody Rhodes everywhere he goes now. It's amazing how the trolls have gotten that one to go. Cody's clearly burying everybody he can these days. But man, Schlong, I know you said it on Twitter. I said it in Discord. I was like, holy shit, Arn Anderson. Well, what did you think? First of all, what did you think about the match? And then what did you think about the post-match?
The match was awesome. Dante Martin is, I'll say this every time, he's fucking phenomenal. If you're scrolling through or you're on YouTube, whatever, you see a Dante Martin match, watch it. He does things I didn't think were possible. CM Punk was raving about him, comparing him to all these great legends. I mean, the kid has nothing but potential. He's going to be awesome. I mean, he is awesome, but he's going to be like a superstar one day. I loved that Lee Johnson was the end of the match, the way he came in aggressive, tagged himself in, because then the two guys that got the most over in this match were Lee Johnson and Dante Martin. You're two young guys with a lot of upside. I loved it. It was so well done. The fucking promo after. There's a reason I wrote this as has Arn Anderson killed the guy. I'm questioning it at this point. I mean, he was so confident that he pulls out that Glock, puts it to his head, and it's not even like he says, "I make the guy back off." He just puts the bullet through the brain. Fuck, I did not see that. What the fuck? I mean, it was awesome. It literally was one of those drop dead moments, and it's perfect for what they're doing. But holy shit!
I mean, he is the enforcer.
I never knew that's what they meant.
I mean, I don't know. He's worst case scenario. He's stealing Billy Jack Haynes' gimmick, allegedly.
Okay.
Is that too?
I mean,
it's too inside baseball for you guys.
No, I mean, it's just what's weird is that like this Arn Anderson has come out of nowhere, right? Like there was no issue, and then last week, like there's he falls off the apron, right? And Cody checks on him, and now he's like basically like, "Fuck you, Cody, I'm out." Like it just seems 0 to 60 really fast. Also, he mentioned Brock in his promo, and I was like, oh, yeah, we haven't seen Brock since he got killed by Malachi.
Right. His son's a fucking loser.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I think there's logic here though, because Arn got his head kicked in, and then Arn's son got his head kicked in, and Cody still is kind of playing like Mr. Nice Guy about it all. I think that's where there's logic to Arn being pissed off, especially when you're the kind of guy who will pull out your gun.
Arn Anderson is a fucking horseman. Horsemen do not take kind to losing. Cody is just kind of like, oh, I lost again. What am I gonna do? And Arn wants him to have that goddamn killer instinct, and he doesn't have it because he wants to play fucking Homelander, and he wants to promote his fucking roads to the top, and he wants to fucking kiss babies and shake hands, and he wants to be fucking EVP. Arn don't want that. Arn don't want no distractions. Arn don't want no Brody Rhodes coming out to ringside with him.
Brody Rhodes?
Brandy Rhodes, whatever. Arn Anderson is 4 horsemen. And when you're a 4 horseman, you're a 4 horseman for life, unless your name is Paul Roma. And he don't take kind to losing.
Well,
so maybe Arn has killed a person. So be it. Hopefully,
it's very possible.
It's possible.
Although I don't prefer a Glock. I just don't like the feel.
Also, real
I'll
quick,
say this.
just Mike.
Go ahead.
I don't want to forget Mike Peterson saying Dante Martin is only 20. I do think that's important to say.
Yeah, I've never seen somebody get so much air standing and just jumping from a standing position, or even just off of the top rope. Like, I've just never seen the height that he gets. It's incredible. But here's my question, I guess, to both you guys is, I truly think that a heel turn's coming, right? I think Cody's going heel. I think the crowd is going, the crowd reaction is going to lead to that. I think they're smarter than to kind of avoid it, and they'll play into it at some point. But also, it just seems like he's doing some things lately that are a little heelish. Not overly, over the top heel, but enough to make me think he's flipping heel. So if that's where we're going, when and how do they pull this off? I mean, I would have thought he was going to just turn on Arn, but Arn turned on him. So I don't know how they're going to go with this. I mean, Schlong, any thoughts here? Do you think it's going to turn, and how would that play out?
I definitely think Cody's the one turning. I think they're using this as Arn's not the heel in this situation because he's saying the truth. He's just looking for aggression. What is Cody doing? So I think you're going to see Cody take it too far, and that's going to be his heel turn. I'd also like to point out they're using the name Arm Anderson on Twitter to refer to him at this point, which is just cracking me up. But yeah, I think it's going to be Cody going too far with getting serious, and that's the completion of his heel turn. But the Homelander thing is exactly what he's going for. I mean, he's been doing that for, I think, a little bit now. He recognizes that he's booed.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, do you see this going heel, or are you of the opposite opinion?
I think it's very, very much like Die Rocky Die. I think Cody is going to. The fans hate him, so why fucking try and placate the fans? Get out there and be a fucking. You want to hate me? I'll give you a reason to hate me. And I think Long's point, I think that involves Cody fucking laying Arn Anderson out.
Yeah, I think at this point that's the only way to do it. And I think Brandy gets involved with it too, and then you just have plenty of reason to hate both of them.
I already hate Brandy. She's a distraction. Too many distractions. It's another problem with Arn Anderson. He needs to fucking lay the hammer down. We can't have this fucking broad out here walking around with her fucking hitters hanging out. Yeah, she looks great. She just had a baby. We get it. She's a distraction. She's getting in the ring, flipping off Malachi Black. You're just a distraction. There's another person that fucking Cody has to worry about when he's trying to be out there winning matches. He's already got fucking Depends over here he's got to worry about. Now he's got to worry about hitters over here. Too much. Too much.
Women weaken legs, Rock.
Take her to the zoo, Rock.
Asian Joe says he thinks that Cody's going to whoop Lee Johnson's ass and go too far, and then lay Arn out while he tries to stop him. I mean, I think they could do that too now that they've kind of separated Lee and Arn. I think that also makes plenty of sense. So good point, Asian Joe. Hey, moving on from this, guys, we get a trios match. This is Matt's favorite trios match. It's Darby Allin, Eddie Kingston, and Jon Moxley versus Bear Country and Anthony Green.
My man, AG.
Getting to the end of this match, Darby Allin, Eddie Kingston, and Jon Moxley win by pinfall with the Violent Crown from Mox and King on Anthony Green. Anthony Green ate it. Anthony Green was sort of the odd man on his team. Like, Bear Boulder and Bear Bronson, and then Anthony Green. He is clearly not of the same build as those other men. I thought it was a fun match. There were certain moments where I was like, this is a little kind of weird, but boy, those Bear boys can move around. So it helps when you got big guys who can do the moves. I thought it was pretty fun. Schlong, what do you think about this match?
I really liked the match. I think this was a nice way to get the Bear Country back on TV now that they're fully healed as a team and trying to start that back up. There's not a lot of feuds sitting there since they've been gone for so long. Well, one of them has. So this was nice. I love seeing Anthony Green out there. He was great. He had moments to shine. I wonder if we're going to keep seeing him. Usually if they put you on Dynamite, they try to do some stuff with you more than once. But this was fun. I think that, on a night like tonight where they're clearly honoring Brody Lee and they're just trying to make a feel-good show, a match like this really helps out. You knew who the winners were going to be, but you got to see your favorites out there and you got to show off some awesome talent. And really, again, Bear Country looked very good. Anthony Green looked very good. And Darby Allin looked very good. So your four young talents in the ring all looked very good with your established stars doing what they needed to do. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, if you're Anthony Green, you have to feel good about starting out pretty much in ring with Darby Allin, getting some sequences with Darby Allin. You're eating the pin from Mox and Eddie, but then post-match, you're eating the Scorpion Death Drop from the Icon. There you go. So, man, what a night for Anthony Green. Matt, did you happen to see, I don't remember if this was in the first hour or not. Did you get to see this?
I caught the last couple minutes of this match. To Ryan's point, it's a great thing when these guys are on Dynamite, and it elevates them. Hopefully we get to see more Bear Country now, like we did with 2.0. Same thing with Anthony Green. They could do stuff with him like Daniel Garcia. Obviously, all talented guys, and it just shows you that this is how jam-packed AEW is right now. Moxley, who was your former world champion, Eddie Kingston, and Darby Allin are wrestling, with all due respect, a useless trios match because we still don't have fucking trios titles, but we're going to get a fucking secondary women's title. What are we doing here? Give me the trios title, baby. Come on.
Yeah, I think we're going to get trios titles, but I think they're trying to, elevate the women with a second belt, I guess. I know that that's a tough pill to swallow. I think Ryan and I talked about it last week. It's like, they can't get one belt right, and now they want to add a second belt, but there's promise there. I mean, they've been doing better with the women lately. So that's a good thing. They're telling some stories, but yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out with the second women's belt. Nothing official, but that's the heavy rumors. That's what's going on. After this, we did get a video package from Britt Baker, talking about her title defense against Ruby Soho. That's right, Britt Baker, DMD. And Ruby basically saying that now she's at the back of the pack. She doesn't have a win record, so she's got to do some work. So it's clear that they're cooling this off. I don't know where they're going next with Britt Baker, but we'll see what happens. And then we start with the Hardy family in the ring. And Matt Hardy cuts a promo talking about how he was supposed to debut in Rochester last year, but unfortunately that got deleted because Rochester is an awful town that produces awful people and doesn't deserve a legend like Big Money Matt Hardy. And that's when the Dark Order enters for our big 16-man tag match. The Dark Order, Alan Five Angels, Alex Reynolds, Colt, Evil Uno, John Silver, Preston Vance, and Stu Grayson with Orange Cassidy versus the entire Hardy family office, the Butcher, the Blade, Angelico, Jack Evans, Private Party, and Big Money Matt Hardy. Guys, I am not always a fan of these matches, and it's funny because commentary called it out pretty quickly, the fact that in a big match like this, why would you only have one referee? They can't see everything. And clearly things broke down because you've got 16 guys. But we all know what this was for, right? This was to honor Brody and have a feel-good moment in the night. They wanted the Dark Order to come together just for this one match. And things do break down during this match between the Dark Order. At one point, Evil Uno takes off. Stu Grayson makes the chase. Colt Cabana chases. They're going up the ramp. They're on their way out. And then -1 comes out with TJ and Amanda Huber. And -1 throws the papers in Uno's face. Amanda yells at them to get back in the ring, just, come together for this. And eventually the Dark Order does come together. They win by pinfall with a lateral press from Silver on Joel. And then the Dark Order is standing tall in the ring. They celebrate in Brody Lee's memory, -1 on 10 shoulders. And it's a nice feel-good moment. Matt, let's get your take on this because we haven't got to hear a lot from you. This is a tough match to pull off, right? It's a lot of guys. There's a lot of moving parts. It doesn't always work out, but we know what they were doing here. Did this work for the moment for you?
I thought for what it was there to be, you kind of knew. They kind of made it clear earlier in the day that this was going to be about Brody Lee tonight. Not the whole show, but this match in particular. And we had the storyline with the Dark Order. There was a shitload. I don't know when the last time Angelico was on Dynamite. The Jorah dude I haven't seen in forever. Again, I don't watch Dark Elevation, so my apologies. There was just a lot of people there, but it served its purpose. They gave you that feel good moment. Johnny Hungy got to go fucking wild at ringside, running over everybody, and then sorry, Nelly, and then the stuff with Amanda and Tay and Anna Jay and -1 and the papers and it was just a really feel-good moment, and then to have them all celebrate in the ring, it brought a tear to my eye. It was beautiful, and everyone chanting fucking Brody Lee's name. I think it served its purpose. It doesn't always have to be Daniel Bryan against Kenny Omega. Like this is, I think we talked about it this is just it's a weird thing. I still can't wrap my head around why it affects me the way it does, the Brody Lee passing and everything. But it's just beautifully done by AEW, and it's. It kind of gives you a sense that it's more than just a wrestling company, and more of a family or element there, and you hear all the great stories and whatnot, and it didn't have to be a serious match. There's fucking 16 guys in the goddamn thing. I don't know what people were expecting, but I think it served its purpose, and I was very happy with it.
Yeah, and what's also interesting, and then we'll get Schlong's take on this match. It's also interesting, just you kind of mentioned the whole thing is kind of weird, right? Like it still affects a lot of people. But what I find really interesting is the way that they handled it. Is the reason that a lot of guys were, a good crop of guys who they've gotten recently. It's been one of the reasons they said they would even be interested in talking to the company was because how they handled the situation and how it was, put on TV and the way that they paid tribute to him. So it's just amazing they continue to do that. This I think, Matt, I'm with you. It was all about the moment. Schlong, what did you think of this?
I loved it for what it was. I mean, and I said as a compliment, like Matt said, this wasn't going to be Omega versus Danielson. It didn't need to be. Wrestling's about just getting emotions out of you, and this got emotions. When I'm watching at the end being like, you goddamn it, group, you better hug, you better. I kind of hope this was the whole reason they were doing the Dark Order, like having infighting storyline, just so that they could get to this piece, because that would be pretty neat to like have -1 and his wife be the way they reunited. I never thought that would be it, But it would be a really cool moment, and especially because you have BTE afterwards being like, no, we're good again. That's all we needed. We needed their family to kind of like bring us back. I think that'd be a nice touch. If they don't, I'm not going to criticize them for it. I get it. But I'd be very happy if they were like, no, we're back. We're united. This was just really the whole story. Because when -1 threw those papers, I lost it. I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And you could tell when he was walking out how emotional he got at points. So just to see the whole, it was really as well done as you could make it. And I think everyone on both sides understood what this whole moment was about. Everyone, like, it was perfect. I really think they, you couldn't do an entire night again. It just would feel a little cheesy. I think at some point, like, you're taking advantage of it. But a match like this with his group, with his family there, was as perfect as you can get.
Yeah, it's funny, Shlong, you mentioned the throwing the papers, got you to pop. When that happened, it just made me think, like, man, it's been so long since we've seen that. You know what I mean? Like, since we've gotten that joke, it's just incredible how kind of time sort of flies, but it doesn't seem like it happened that soon. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like forever ago, but it's been a year and time has kind of flown by. So either way, well done from them. And all involved in what could have been a disastrous match to try to pull off. They pulled it off pretty well. Guys, in an interesting twist, we get a Lio Rush video package where he says that Tony Khan's been hitting him up for months to see if he's all elite. And here he is. You can call him LBO because he does leverage buyouts to make his money. And that's true success. Shlong, you could maybe give us a financial breakdown of everything he talked about. But basically, guys, Lio Rush is all elite. They put it up on their Twitter. He's signed, sealed, and delivered, which is interesting because when he came to them in that Battle Royal or the ladder match, whichever one it was, he got hurt and then he retired and said, I'm going to live up to my contractual agreements. And now he's essentially back. And I know he's played this game, I think, a couple times before, where he quits, and then he comes back, and then he retires, and he's, back. Listen, I'm excited to see what he could do in this company if he actually sticks around long enough to do it. And when you think about signing with All Elite, he could do everything he essentially wants to do, wrestling in other places, having a favorable work schedule. Is this something that gets you excited, or is this something that makes you nervous? Like, because he's kind of, I don't want to say a loose cannon, but he's just kind of not, I guess, been that reliable in the past. Like, Matt, where do you sit with this?
I have zero interest in Lio Rush. The whole, look, you can't take away from his talent in the ring, but it's everything that's from his time in the WWE with the Bobby Lashley stuff, and he's not carrying people's bags, to the fucking retirement thing where he sent this big fucking press release out like we were supposed to believe him. Shit or get off the pot, bro. Like, make up your mind. I just don't see where he fits in AEW. Again, I can't take away from his in-ring ability is unbelievable. If he's healthy, if he's committed, I could be 1,000% wrong and I could be into it. But right now, I have zero interest in Lio Rush. I just don't know where he fits. I know he did a bunch. He retired, but he was finishing up his dates with New Japan because he was advertised for a bunch of stuff. I just don't give a shit. I'm not into Lio Rush. I'm sorry. I just don't see where he fits. Mike Peterson says, give me Lio versus Darby. Sure. I'm sure it'd be a fucking amazing match. But is it, is the next injury right around the corner and then he's retiring again? Like, I don't know. I'm just not into him. He doesn't really, wet my palate.
No, that's fair. And I'm kind of with you because of the inconsistencies, his health, not being 100% all the time, hearing about some of his backstage shit. Like, I'm kind of like mixed. Like, I'm excited to see what he could do with some of these guys, but I don't know how long he's going to, you know what I mean? Like, it's not guaranteed how long he's going to be doing it. even though he's now apparently signed. Schlong, where are you on Lio Rush?
I'm not as like I know him from his run in WWE. I don't know much of his work outside of it, so I don't have much of an opinion. He looked all cool in the ring, but I can't tell you much outside of that. I look forward to seeing him with certain matchups, but like if he's injury prone or he's just hard to get excited because I don't know what from what I understand and have read, there's a lot of stops and starts with him, so it's hard to get too excited thinking that this could stop in a week.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, kind of like, something else that kind of like doesn't necessarily help is there is a secondary title, right, in AEW for people to be involved with, and it's that TNT title. But like, there's so many guys in that kind of like mid card that you can't have everyone going for that. And we talk, we want trios belts. They have that TBS title that's rumored to be coming for the women. Like, would you think that some other sort of belt, like a cruiserweight or something like that, would benefit them to get some of these smaller wrestlers involved with? Makes sense? Like, now we're talking about adding more belts, and we've talked that like they don't necessarily need more belts, but I mean, without something like that, does this make any sense to you? Like, is there anything here for these mid-card small guys to get involved with?
I don't forget, there's only 3 hours of TV too. I'm 100% against the TBS title. It's not because it's a woman's thing. I hate when I feel like the belts are props, and if you can't write good TV, then it's just an easy prop for you to bring in, and it'll help you create an easy, lazy storyline. And that's not what AEW does. AEW is super creative with the way they tell their stories, and I don't think we need an extra belt. I get the other side of it where it's like, well, we want to highlight more women, and I'm all for that. I just don't want I get it. It's because they're moving the TBS championship for the women. That's whatever. The secondary belt, it helps to build the division, but I just don't want to, we want trios. So now we have the trios, we have the TNT, we have the TBS, we have the world, we have the tag. Obviously if they're looking to build the women's division, does that mean we're looking at women's tag titles down the future? And now the possibility of a cruiser, that's 7 championship titles right there. That's a fucking lot for 3 hours worth of TV.
And then at some point you would figure they'd have to relegate something to the YouTube shows, right? Like you'd have to sort of relegate one of these belts to spend a lot of time on Dark and Elevation. And I don't know if they necessarily want to do that. They don't kind of put those guys on those shows anyway. And I'm not complaining about it, but yeah, it's just like, I just don't know. They keep signing all these guys, and we kind of talk about it, right? It's almost like an embarrassment of riches, but I just don't know. Like, cool, there's Lio Rush, and there's some good matches that they could have. I just don't know what there is to get excited about because I don't see him in any title picture at any point, and there's kind of no reason.
That's kind of why I want trios, though, because all of a sudden you take away. You're now getting 6 guys into one match, and you put Leo on a team with 2 other guys, and they could be big guys, they could be small guys. There's always, you could do it either way because and all of a sudden he has a story, and that's why trios would really help out because it would clear up some of this logjam because you take some of your tag teams that you have plenty of, give them a third guy that kind of fits on that team, and suddenly you're using a bunch of your talent. They also need to rotate talent as much as possible so that you get sick of no one. That everyone's kind of, so that's what I'm hoping for. I don't think you can obviously have too much talent, but I think so long as they're smart in how they rotate, then it won't be a problem because someone like Leo, maybe we don't see him in a high, assuming it all works out with him, maybe we don't see him in a high profile feud for a while, but then suddenly he's hot shotted and then he goes away for a little. Like you can do a bit of that. Matt, just because I don't think we'll have a chance to talk about it later, the TBS thing, the only thing I like about the TBS title is the women's division right now feels like they have a bunch of women. They have a handful of women they want to protect. A secondary title allows them to protect someone like Thunder Rosa and keep her away from Britt Baker. And then you build up divisions behind them and maybe it keeps them away. And kind of like they do with the TNT, like Miro hasn't had to go near Kenny. Like it keeps people away from each other. I get what you're saying. I don't want too many belts. But as long as it's women's belt and men's belt, I don't count them as like too many belts. It's when you'd have like 6 belts in the men's division, then I might have a problem because now you've overloaded that division.
Fair enough. And to piggyback off of the keeping talent fresh, I know Tony Khan is a student of the game, so maybe he treats AEW like a territory. You know, look, a lot of these guys are not exclusively signed to AEW. You know, obviously the Bucks and Cody and Kenny aren't really looking to, you know, go outside of their comfort zone. Obviously Kenny did Impact, but like if you decide to take, I don't know, Moxley off of TV, he's free to work. He's working tons of it's not like you're taking money out of his pocket. I'm sure he's signed to a contract so you can keep talent fresh that way. I just, again, Leo Rush does very little for me. And look, to your points, I'm sure he could tear the house down with Darby, the Jacksons, fucking Daniel Bryan, probably Bryan Danielson, Andrade. You know, there's a fucking ton of great matches. Shit you haven't even thought of until you see it. But he just doesn't do it for me.
Even
Also,
Dante Martin.
Oh. But I also want to point out real quick, because I know I saw it online, like, oh, they haven't started rotating talent yet. I'm not going to hold them to that right now because they're just getting back on the road with fans. So they're trying to make these shows great for fans, to show them all of the wrestlers they've been watching. I would say the same at WWE or anyone. Like, when it's the first time you're having a chance to have fans in almost 2 years, you're going to be like, hey, we're going to put the same guys in week after week so that this live crowd gets to see these guys in this. So I'm going to give them several months before I start to be like, hey, maybe they should sit this guy out for a while, because we're still in. But that's just my thought.
Yeah, and the other thing too, I guess, to piggyback off that, Schlong, and then we'll keep moving ahead, is the fact that you've just signed some of the biggest names that were available, right? So you're not going to look to put, Danielson or Adam Cole or CM Punk off of the TV. And you're also, like you said, getting him back in front of fans. More importantly, you're getting into these markets for the first time now, when you were supposed to be in these markets live a year ago, right? New Jersey, New York, upstate New York, or Western New York with Rochester. They're hitting these places for the first time. So yeah, I'm with you. Like, I don't hold it against them, because I think to myself, like, man, what if we went to New York and like we didn't get to see Danielson or Adam Cole or CM Punk? Like, that would suck. You know what I mean? Like, that would absolutely suck. So I'm with you, Schlong. But moving right along, we do get an FTR promo. We don't have to dig deep into it, but basically FTR is saying that with the greatest tag team in wrestling steering the ship, they are revitalized and refocused, and that is bad news for the rest of the division, but good news for them and the Pinnacle. So it looks like FTR are going to be back into their serious ways, so we'll see what's up next for them. But this is my favorite segment of the night. Not really. Dan Lambert in the ring with the Men of the Year. And Dan Lambert is talking about Jorge Masvidal's knee is on Jericho's mind, and he's having a plastic surgeon get the knee removed. He puts Jericho over, though. He took AEW and put it on his shoulders and injected it with rocket fuel to turn them into the hottest promotion in decades. The story is a happier ending than a millennial's night at home in mom's basement, because Y2J confronted American Top Team, and that put his career to an end. He talks about, I will never wrestle again, yada, yada, yada. He sounds like a boomer. And then, Dan hands over the mic to Scorpio Sky, and All Ego Ethan Page. Scorpio Sky says that about a year ago he stood in the ring and looked at the camera and asked if you're paying attention. He's been one of the first champions in the company with a killer win-loss record, and he even climbed a ladder for a giant sonic ring, and it still wasn't good enough. Dan was paying attention and sees what everybody else ignores, that Scorpio Sky is a main eventer, and so is Ethan Page. When Page gets on the mic, he says the crowd isn't paying attention because they look past guys like him because they don't swear or throw their middle fingers up. He's never been pinned or submitted, and he's still overlooked. They're not getting overlooked anymore because he dresses, talks, and walks like a champ, and now he rolls with the Champions American Top Team, and the Men of the Year are the top team. So, Schlong, I don't know. Again, this whole thing is just very confusing to me because they don't need to have Dan Lambert talking for them. And again, I just don't give a shit about MMA or Dan Lambert being Diet Coke Jim Cornette. So what did you think about, first of all, what did you think about this, and what the fuck are we doing now? Like, where are we going now?
So again, I don't get why Dan Lambert is part of this. He gives the mic to Scorpio Sky and to Ethan Page, and they cut great promos. Ethan Page lets us know that he has the tightest tits in the game, which is something he says on his vlogs, and I laugh every time he says it. But they cut great promos. So what the fuck is that? Like, even if I love Dan Lambert, what the fuck is he doing with them? You don't need a mouthpiece when you have two great promo guys. And he also kind of doesn't fit like the vibe they give off. He would almost make more sense, and I don't want him with them, so mind you, I'm not saying this, but he would almost make more sense with like a heel FTR. Like, they have a closer vibe as to what he's giving off than Men of the Year. But I'm not saying I want that. I'm just saying like the vibes are that off. I don't know what the plan is here. I guess it's some MMA crossover, but it just doesn't make sense. I get why they're doing. Actually, it makes sense in like I said, in the business backroom type way, where I'm like, yeah, they want that ESPN crossover. They want the mainstream news to pick up on this. But from a standpoint of storylines, I'm really interested in. I'm more interested in just seeing Men of the Year by themselves, because I think those two are awesome. They could be tag team, they could do singles run. I love them all, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I agree with Asian Joe here. He says that Dan Lambert makes Rate the Great seem bearable to listen to. I have to agree with you.
Joe. I liked you, Joe. I liked you a lot. Now I got to consider some things. I'm a big fan of Rate the Great.
Glad somebody is.
Matt, what the fuck is going on with Dan Lambert?
Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are two of the most likable characters in professional wrestling. They can talk, they can work, they can wrestle. AEW needs heels. That is why he is with them. That's the only reason why he's with them. It's not about that they can't cut a promo. He is just there to make them hateable. That's it. I, again, voiced my opinion about this crossover bullshit before, and why I think they're doing it. I don't really like it, but it is what it is. I don't want to see a fucking MMA wrestling match.
I mean, where do we go now, right? Like, I mean, I think Jericho and Masvidal is probably going to happen, which, dear God, I don't want that. But like, what are we doing now with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page? Like, I just don't. There's nobody else on the horizon unless they do a rematch with like Jericho and Hager again. I just don't know where we're trying to get to.
I think they're going after the tag titles.
That's the end game here, huh? Well, I mean, I guess that's ultimately the goal.
They talked about it in the promo. Ethan Page has never been beat. He's never been submitted. Scorpio Sky grabbed the Sonic ring, and still he wasn't noticed. So how else are they going to get noticed? They're going to go after the tag team champions, and I'm not against that. That's a tag match we haven't seen yet, and it leaves a lot of possibilities on the table.
Yeah, I'm not against it. It's just funny. He won that Sonic ring. He just lost the match that he won the Sonic ring for. So he didn't get overlooked. He just lost the fucking match.
Did he get a rematch?
I don't think there's an automatic rematch clause.
Doesn't matter. Darby Allin got a fucking 1,000 TNT championship matches when he was getting beat every week.
It's an open invite. He could go for that title whenever he wants.
Don't give me that shit.
Well, either way, guys, get excited because next week we're getting Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb at the episode 200 of Dynamite in Philadelphia. Did we even know this was going to be episode 200 in Philly? How come we're not going?
I thought it was the 2-year anniversary, not episode 200.
Or, sorry, 2-year. You're right. 2-year anniversary. I don't remember who this Hikaru Shida is. Apparently she's going for 50 wins. I don't remember seeing her wrestle at all. Or maybe I just fell asleep during her fucking matches. But, Matt, you grabbed your face. What do you think about this match?
Just file it on your shit I don't give a fuck about. I love Serena. I love Serena Deeb. I don't know where the fuck she's been. I don't know if she's been hurt.
Right.
I don't know if she's been on the shelf. I don't give a Look, we've talked about it ad nauseum. If you've been listening to the Mark Order podcast, even before when it was just AEW Dynamite, I don't give a shit about Hikaru Shida, all right? And all the fucking Joshi girls. I don't give a shit. Doesn't translate well to American television in my eyes. This does nothing for me. 50 wins means jack shit to me. This is like putting lipstick on a pig. I just don't give a shit. I still ain't kissing it.
Well, it did wonders for Jungle Boy. I wonder how it'll work for Shida.
Yeah, but at least Jungle Boy was on fucking TV every week.
Very true.
She's was the you don't tell me she's the longest reigning champion. Has she been on Dynamite since she lost the title?
She's been on Dark. I know that. I don't remember.
I don't give a look. With all due respect, Schlong, I don't give a fuck about AEW Dark. Okay, I'm watching Dynamite every week. Has this fucking longest reigning former world champion been on Dynamite? No. So why the fuck should I give a shit?
I don't disagree. I don't care about this match, and I'm with you. I like Deeb. Don't know where she's been, but I don't need to see Shida Deeb next week. Schlong, what do you think?
So I think Deeb's been hurt. If I'm not mistaken, I think she re-injured something, like her knee or something. So I think that's where she's been, if I'm not mistaken. I have been seeing Shida on Dark, so to me, she's not as unfamiliar, but I completely understand what you're saying. You shouldn't have to watch Dark for this. Like, not for someone who's your longest reigning champion. If she was an up-and-comer, it's different, but she should have been on Dark. She should have been on Dynamite or Rampage for a while. That being said, they have to bring her on Dynamite sometime. Might as well do it. You can't, I mean, it's something you have to be okay that they're doing it.
Mike Peterson saying that Deeb tore her ACL. I guess we could Google that.
I don't want to Google.
Yeah. I just don't know. I just don't care about that match. Listen, my opinion on Shida has been known since day number one. I'm not a fan. I don't need to see her on TV. I didn't care about her title run. So, not really interesting to me. Guys, we get Penelope Ford and the Bunny versus TJ after that video promo. There was a pretty weird, scary moment during this match where Tay Conti hops over the top rope to land on the apron and she slips and goes to the floor, and she laid there grabbing her knee for a few minutes. We didn't even see her get up or crawl away. And then eventually she winds up back on the apron and tags in, and everything looks good. But, was a little nervous there for a minute that she really fucked her knee up. It looks like, I guess, everything's all good. Getting to the end of this match, TJ win by submission with body scissors, sleeper hold, the Queen's, what do they call it? The Queen Slayer. From Anna Jay on Penelope Ford. I think Penelope Ford actually, quote-unquote, passes out and doesn't necessarily tap out. Post-match, -1 slides in the ring to hug Tay Conti and Anna Jay. And that's our match. So, I mean, guys, my opinion on this match is it was almost like the same as our championship match last week. Like, I felt like this match started off and it was disjointed and not everyone was on the same page. And eventually it found itself. It wasn't a terrible match. It wound up being serviceable. But I just felt like this is the second week in a row I'm seeing a women's match on TV where they're not all on the same page from the start. It's very disjointed. They all seem to be doing their own thing. And then eventually they find themselves, which I think it's a problem, right? Like we can't start off with all this shit and then find it in the middle. So I think, again, for kind of what it was, I think this was, a nod to their ties to Brody Lee. Clearly, -1 comes in at the end and does some celebrating. I thought it was okay, not great. Schlong, what did you think about this match?
These fucking mirror cameras always fuck me up. So I agree. It started disjointed. I think that has to do a lot with that slip because that happened very early in the match. I think Tay did the smart thing there though. When she fell off and slipped, to sell the knee injury, I think was the only way to make it, try to hide it from being so botched looking, like pretend it's an injury rather than I just slipped. I think that was what her thinking was there. But it picked up steam and I ended up really enjoying it. I've liked this story. I know not everyone's sold on it, but I've enjoyed it. I think there's characters involved I really like. I'm going to point this out because it doesn't have to do with the match, but it has to do with the women's division. We're talking about this TBS title. It feels like they're setting up more tag titles than they are TBS title. I mean, you have people coming out with matching gear. You have factions. It seems more like that's where they're going. But either way, I enjoyed it. I've been okay with the story the whole way through. And I'm assuming this is the conclusion, so I don't know where any of these people go after this, but I liked it for what it was.
Matt, you're a big fan of women's wrestling. What did you think about this match?
My only complaint about this match: why the fuck are you not wearing goddamn Dark Order fucking gear? What are we doing here? You were out fucking 25 minutes ago with the whole goddamn Dark Order and his fucking wife and his son. His son's in the ring at the end of the match. You two are dancing around like a bunch of My Little fucking ponies. Are you serious? And it doesn't help that they had to talk about it on commentary. CM Punk's talking about him being the best looking members of the Dark Order. He's borderline. It's 2021, Punk. You can't say stuff like that. People get fucking butthurt about everything. Pissed me off that they weren't in fucking Dark Order gear.
They did mention something about that on commentary. I don't recall what the exact comments were, but they did mention that they weren't wearing purple. I don't know why. I'm with you, man. I don't know why they would do that. But it's very interesting that with Kate out tonight, you've taken up her ring gear mantle.
No, it bothered me. They're part of the. You saw them earlier in the night with the Dark Order. They're part. Anna Jay is part of the Dark Order. She was recruiting Ty. I also don't give a shit about this match, so there's that.
That was readily apparent from the beginning when you rubbed your eyes when he was started talking about the match.
This is when I got up to reheat my Chinese food from yesterday.
Oh, very nice.
By the way, I think the Dark Order storyline is actually over at this point with Uno because he tweeted something. He just said like he tried to be a leader, he couldn't, he failed, it embarrassed him, but there was only one leader, he was the best, and he will forever be that. So, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he said. So I think this was the whole point of that story. So I'm okay with that.
Makes me smile.
Yes, we can stop crying. Guys, we get a video package and an announcement for Friday Night Rampage here. We're going to get Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose versus Thunder Rosa on Rampage this Friday night in an anything goes match.
Fucking Thunder Rosa better put her fucking working shoes on. Holy shit. This poor girl's got to carry this dog shit.
Yeah, I think I immediately said in the Discord, God, I hope that doesn't turn into a shit show. I don't know. I hope it doesn't suck because there's a couple big names in that match that you don't want to come out looking like shit. I don't care about Nyla Rose. I'm not a fan of Nyla Rose. I think she needs to be better. But Thunder Rose is going to have a lot of work. I'm with you, Matt.
That had to be why they made no DQ. Like, they had to be like, oh shit, we made this match, realized we have one person who we can truly count on to deliver an awesome match. At least with no DQ, you can use shenanigans to kind of get to hide some shortcomings. Not all of them, but some.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the issues here from before the Battle Royal, right? Like, so that's, I think, why they're doing this. Because Thunder Rosa got jumped, and then Nyla turned on Jade during the Battle Royal, and, I think we're kind of closing this out. But cross your fingers, folks. We'll see how that one turns out Friday night on Rampage. We also we go from this into MJF and Wardlow in the ring. And MJF gets on the mic to say that he's on the precipice of something really spectacular as AEW continues to gain momentum. And as much as he hates to admit it, there are 4 pillars who lead the company forward. Jungle Boy, he's beat him. Sammy Guevara, he's beat him. Darby Allin, whatever. And then the strongest and most important is MJF himself. He brings it up because without him, the company isn't shit. And he's the past, present, and future of AEW. That's why he deserves to be the champion. He says that out of all the cons in pro wrestling, Tony is easily top 2. But he has a friend back in the day. He has a friend from back in the day, from his MLW days, named Bruce Pritchard, and he's got him on speed dial. And that's when Darby enters from the ring. MJF says as much as he loves the whole school shooter mime on a skateboard vibe, he doesn't appreciate being interrupted. I also enjoyed when he called him Freaky Deaky Darby. But MJF says that there's nothing wrong with being the second best guy. Some of the best number 2 guys are incredible, just like Sting. But MJF is Wayne Gretzky, Babe Ruth, and Michael Jordan, number 1 all around. And then Darby asks if he's done talking, and if he wants to leave and get what he wants, he should just go. But RB is AEW until death. And how can he be number 1 pillar if he's the only one between the 2 of them who hasn't won a title? And that's when MJF says that he respects Allin for being straight edge, but wonders if people know why. And that's when MJF tells a story about being a little boy back in the day, getting into a car with his drunken, sloppy, alcoholic uncle, and getting into an accident where his uncle died. And he proceeds to tell Darby that the wrong guy died that night, and tries to provoke Darby into hitting him, but Darby doesn't give in. And he says, Darby says, if he's got anything else to add, say it now. And MJF says that he's done, and he walks out with Wardlow behind him. So, looks like we're going to get Darby and MJF at some point, which I am all in on. Funny thing is, Mrs. Money was like, is this a true story? And I was like, yes, this is absolutely a true story. I just wish that MJF went into Darby Allin loving doo-doo art, because we all know where that comes from.
Old doo-doo art.
That's right. Matt, what do you think about this?
I thought it was good. I like MJF. I think he's a fantastic heel. I love the homage to the 4 pillars of All Japan Pro Wrestling. I think that's a great play there for AEW. And there's a sense of realism here. And I like how Darby was not going to let him play mind games. No punches were thrown. They didn't touch each other. So this could be an exciting, different feud for both guys. And, I'm excited to see how this plays out.
Schlong, you gave Orange Cassidy thumbs up to the thought of MJF and Darby. What did you think about the promo?
I thought the promo was really good. I mean, Jesus Christ, between the school shooter line and then the going into Darby's true past, MJF really does go for the throat in his heel promos, but I respect that. I love this feud. So the Orange Cassidy thumbs up is the highest compliment. I think I'm surprised they've waited so long to do it, considering they're 2 of your youngest, best talent, but this is going to be awesome. Assuming they let it be extended. If it's short, but I think this is going to be a really good feud. And I was wondering where MJF goes next, because he needed someone of a certain level, and I couldn't think of who it was going to be. So I'm really happy to see Darby do it.
Yeah, I think this has potential written all over it. So let's see where they go from here. Asian Joe is hoping. He's saying that if we're saying he's going to get to see MJF and Darby at Full Gear, he's good with that. Could be where they're building to. You'd hope so. There's some time to build to that pay-per-view. Guys, they show a video package for the Miro-Sammy Guevara match and go to break. And when we get back, we are into that TNT Championship match. Miro versus Sammy Guevara. As we get to the end here, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know why I faded out here. I don't know if I had too much chocolate cake in my belly, but I didn't see how we got to the finish, but I saw the finish. That Sammy Guevara wins by pinfall with that 630 senton to become the new AEW champion, TNT champion. And then, unfortunately, Fuego del Sol comes out to celebrate with him, and gold confetti rains down on the baby faces as they enter the ring. That's the end of the show. So, Fuego del Sol aside, Matt, let's go to you again first. What did you think about this championship match?
I enjoyed it. They tried some pretty innovative stuff with just to play off the David versus Goliath storyline here, with Sammy doing like some crazy spots and Miro kind of catching him. There was a couple slop spots there, but for the most part it was good. But that's what happens when you try and push the envelope and try something innovative. The story was really Miro's neck, what they've been playing it up for fucking months. And it came down to Miro kind of had Sammy beat, and he fucking knocked him outside the ring. And he ripped all the turnbuckle pads off. And before he ripped off the fourth one, your boy, Ryan's boy, Fuego, he came down to try and stop him. And that just that microsecond of a distraction where Miro swung and took out Fuego gave Sammy the opening he needed to fucking smash Miro into the exposed turnbuckle, and then he hit him with the GTH and then the 630, and it was a wrap.
Schlong, you are a Fuego del Sol mark, but I don't care about Fuego. What did you think about this match?
I'm also a Sammy mark, so this works perfectly for me. I really liked the match. I know Matt kind of sounded exasperated when he said, oh, they went at his neck. I think it's great that they've given Miro basically just one weakness, because he's been unbeatable otherwise. Miro's had the belt since May, so he had it a long time, especially for a title that's defended constantly. So I don't think it's bad that he lost it, especially to Sammy, who's considered top level talent there. I love the match. I love the outcome. I'm very excited to see where it goes from here. I think Bobby Fish being the first challenger tells you we're about to see some weird, in a good way, weird matchups and stuff that you might not have gotten with Miro, because he was a lot more in-house, regular stuff. I'm also very curious where they go with a pissed off Miro now, because I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Like, obviously he might try to go back at Sammy. He's going to try to kill Fuego del Sol. But I don't think they're going to put the belt right on him again. So I'm very, very curious, where does pissed off Miro go? Because that's going to be so much fun to watch.
Schlong, you brought something up, and it was actually my next question, because you said, hey, Miro had the belt since May. My question to you guys was, do you think that this was too short a run for Miro with the championship belt, or do you think that this was a good place to have it run its course and put it on somebody else to now just get somebody else some attention, push them up another level, and move to different stuff?
I think Miro's title run served its purpose. It helped, as much as I don't like Fuego, it helped highlight Fuego. Fuego got his contract, and that's a great feel-good story. It played perfectly into this story with Sammy unseating him, and I'm trying to see if I could find a list of Miro's successful title defenses, but I'll come back to that when I find it and let Schlong say his piece.
Yeah, I mean the TNT title, it's not. I mean, they view it on the same level as as the world title in terms of like importance. You know, the champion there is just as important as the heavyweight champ. Obviously, we know there's always a bit more on the world title, but still. But the difference here is this is a title that's defended constantly. So it makes sense that its reigns would be shorter than the world title, as long as you give him a sufficient amount. And unless Matt corrects me when he finds the list and I'm way off, I think Miro had a lot of defenses. I think Miro I blanked on the word defensive of all things, but I think Miro had a lot of opponents. You know, he beat Darby for it. I'm blanking. He beat a bunch of people.
Yeah, he had 8 successful defenses. He beat Dante Martin, Lance Archer at Double or Nothing, Evil Uno, Brian Pillman Jr., Lee Johnson, Fuego del Sol, Eddie Kingston at All Out, and then Fuego with the new car gimmick in Newark.
You know, there were a handful of guys in there where I was like, that could have legitimately changed hands there. Like Lance Archer, even Evil Uno. Like, that was a good match that could have happened. And it could have also been Eddie at All Out. Like, legitimately, I'd say in there, I'd count maybe 3 times that he could have dropped that belt. It was just maybe timing around it, which is why it didn't happen. But, yeah, I think that that his run was good and it served his purpose and it pushed him up a level. You know, he's kind of found this Redeemer gimmick. It'll be interesting to see how he reacts now as the Redeemer with no, redemption belt anymore, right? So maybe he'll be trying to kind of like absolve his sins. Maybe he'll try to use his wife to get some solace in losing his belt. But either way, I thought, again, kind of missing some of the action towards the end of this match because I don't know why. I just dozed the fuck off. I'll have to go back and see the end because I got through most of it and I enjoyed it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. As Schlong said, next week we're going to get Bobby Fish versus Sammy Guevara for his first title defense. So pretty fun episode of Dynamite tonight. We have a couple things to touch on before we put a bow on this episode. A few pieces of news and notes from the past week. The big news today was that hours before the show aired tonight, the press release went out that Brody Lee's wife, Amanda Huber, and his brother Chris formed a nonprofit to honor his memory, helping people do what he did. And that's really chase his creative dream while supporting his family. So they have started the John Huber Legacy Foundation, and it will focus on providing support to people in creative fields who have not taken the next step in their career because of family obligations. Beginning in 2022, the foundation will select a group of creative individuals to support with resources, connections, practical skills, and direct funding. The cohort will meet throughout the year to learn from experts in areas including business planning, artist management, public relations, brand management, finances, and IP law. These skills connections will help them provide for their families while also helping pursue their dreams. A pretty awesome cause, and All Elite Wrestling actually in the AEW shop has some t-shirts that proceeds will go to the foundation. So pretty cool announcement to drop on the night of this episode to honor Brody Lee. I don't know, whatever you guys, if you have something you want to say about this, please feel free. I don't have any questions.
I think it's just AEW doing wonderful stuff, helping the community and doing it in his name. Where I'm sure there's a ton of people out there who watch wrestling that, would love to put their skills to it's easy to say like, oh, like, you want to do this. Why don't you just quit your job and go after it? Well, guess what? There's a shot you're going to fucking fall on your face and not have a job and not have fucking income to pay your rent or your mortgage, and before you know it, you and your family are fucking homeless. Like, this is awesome. This is an awesome thing, and it's another reason why AEW just puts out this whole vibe. Last week with the Owen Hart stuff, and now with the John Huber Foundation. Like, he wasn't just another dude in the locker room. He meant something to them, and and they're going to take this tragedy and they're going to try and do something good for people, not just in the wrestling business, but across the world. And I think this is just a home run. When I can get a chance, I'm definitely going to buy a t-shirt because all the sales will go to this foundation. So, and I'm a wrestling t-shirt mark. So high fives all around to Tony Khan and Amanda Huber and his brother for just, putting together something cool like this. So wrestling people do cool shit, and it doesn't always have to be about wrestling.
Schlong, do you want to add anything? No pressure. No good? Okay. So the other thing that came out this week is they have finally announced Saturday, November 6th Full Gear has been moved to Saturday, November 13th from the 6th. And this week they announced that it will take place at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So if you're in the Midwest, I hope you got your tickets. I don't know if it's sold out yet. But I think there was a pre-order up, and then the Friday, the general on sale goes up at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central at AEWTix.com. So they will be heading to Minneapolis. I think Asian Joe is heading out, so that should be fun. We'll have to see what he thinks about his first AEW live experience. I think we can all easily say if you've not gone to a show for AEW, you should definitely check it out. It's a whole different experience, but a really good one. The other thing that came out this week is there were some insights as far as like how TK has his kind of promo philosophy, and that came through the lens of all people, Dan Lambert. He spoke to Cage Side Seats and said that his words are mostly his own. He said that luckily over there you get some input on what you're going to do. You write your own scripts. You say what you want to say. You can incorporate some of your own personality if you want to. And it seems like people who get the best reactions do that. I think you see certain guys in pro wrestling who come up with something that has nothing to do with how they truly feel or who they really are. They force it and it doesn't really connect with the people. He also goes on to say that he doesn't know what it's like for everybody else, but I can speak for myself. The first time I walked in, I texted Tony before I got there and said, hey, I'm going to say something like this. And Tony Khan texted me back, great. So it seems like certain people, maybe not everybody, but Dan Lambert has free reign. He's, I guess, really coming up with everything he's saying on his own, but it seems like a pretty free creative place to be over in that AEW, which we kind of knew for some time. But Dan Lambert gave his side of the story. You can check that out over at CagesideSeats.com. And Matt, we have new PWG Tag Team Champions. Did you know that?
Yes, I do not live under a rock.
Well, pretty awesome. The new champs are Malachi Black and Brody King. They defeated Black Taurus and Demonic Flamita for those belts. Just another fucking really cool thing about working at AEW. You can go to these other places, win belts, work with guys at other promotions. Like, I would go nuts if I could see Malachi Black and Brody King on TV together. And I know, obviously, like, you can order a pay-per-view and watch it online, but, like, if I could see them weekly on TV somewhere as a tag team, fuck, goddamn, man, I would do it.
No, absolutely. Look, there was a show this weekend that it was Eddie Kingston was supposed to wrestle, but he couldn't make it or he got hurt. And fucking John Moxley showed up and took his spot and then challenged the champion, and he'll be back there in like November.
Yeah, it's crazy ridiculous. It's just
awesome.
Yeah, it's a great time to be into wrestling. So check that out. There's also rumors coming out this week that Brian Cage is out of action due to an issue with his knee following a recent stem cell procedure. So it looks like Brian Cage is on the shelf. The Observer also noted that Jake Roberts is dealing with undisclosed health issues. I know that Jake the Snake had that COPD, right? Like that was something he was dealing with. That is definitely not an easy disease to deal with. So hope all's well with Jake the Snake. And also Brian Cage, hope his knee is feeling better after that stem cell. procedure. Do you guys know that if you took a bunch of stem cells and you put them next to a Shakey's, they'll build another Shakey's? Schlong got that reference. Schlong got it. Don't
Right.
worry.
Well, I was gonna say, what's a Shakey's?
Schlong got
It's
it.
from South
Don't worry
Park.
about it.
I haven't watched fucking South Park in years.
Dude, that's an old South Park reference. That's not new.
Dude, come on, man. Who's got time for that shit?
Last thing we have is we mentioned before that Leo Rush is now all elite. A couple of other wrestlers, Matthew, are now apparently all elite. If you watch Dark and Elevation this week, you'll know that Excalibur has dropped the news that Kira Hogan has very recently signed with All Elite Wrestling. So Kira Hogan is now all elite. Taz added that he thinks it's an excellent signing by AEW to have her. She's just a tremendous talent. I would agree. And then the other thing that happened is they kind of dropped randomly at the start of, I think it was Standard Dark, that Santana Garrett is now officially signed with All Elite as well. And she'll have her first match next week with Diamante. That's Ryan's girl.
Yes. Actually, that's Kira Hogan's girl.
Well, very true.
Yeah, that's very true.
That
is smart.
So, yeah, I mean, some good signings. I think it bolsters their women's division, and hopefully, if they start to do more shit with their women's division, this only helps.
Agree.
And honestly, guys, that's all the news and notes we have for this week. So that's going to be it for us. What do you got, Matt? Go ahead. What do you got?
I was going to say, that was fun.
It was fun and fast. See what happens when Rate the Great isn't here?
Oh, Rate the Great was here.
She's not here now.
I kicked her out.
Good. So, guys, follow us on all our social at MarkOrderPod. Schlong doesn't have anything personal to promote. Matt, what do you have? I know you got the Shining Wizards on Monday night. What's coming up with the Shining Wizards?
We got a huge show Monday night. I can confirm that we will have the Meat Castle, and I predict he will be the MLW World Champion at the time. Mr. Alexander Hammerstone is joining us Monday night. So be sure to check that out. He's talking PCW Ultra. He's got a huge match coming up with Alex Kane where he will be defending his PCW Ultra Heavyweight Championship against him. And of course, coming off probably the biggest weekend in MLW history where I think he beats Fatu and he is double champion. So he's joining us, and I'm working on another guest for Monday night and just kind of jam it all in there.
So, Matt, where can people find the Shining Wizards on social networks?
At Wizards Podcast on all forms of social media. We, of course, use the live stream as well, so you can watch us on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Be sure to follow us at Wizards Podcast.
And like I said, follow us at MarkOrderPod. We are here every Wednesday at 10:15. Schlong and I are working on a Dark post show. Because we used to talk about Dark here, but this show's gotten so long we had to cut something out. So Schlong and I are working on a Dark show that we hope to get up before the end of the year, but if not, in 2022, it will definitely be back as part of our programming. That seems so far away, but it'll be here before you blink. It's fucking crazy, man. So we're working on that, and Schlong is tweeting along with Dark, Elevation, and Standard Dark every Monday and Tuesday. So you can definitely roll around on the Twitter machine. There's a lot of fun conversations. Too many puns, if you ask me. But, you know, he's doing an okay job. Hey, we got these stickers too. I know I mentioned it before, but we got our Mark Order Podcast stickers. If you DM us on any of our social media and let us know you want some stickers, send us your name and address, and I'll get those stickers out to you as soon as possible. I'll send them anywhere, folks. So if you're in the UK, if you're in somewhere else in Europe or anywhere, whatever, Canada, Hawaii, I'll send them out. Just let us know where you need them sent, and I'll be sure to do that. So DM us on any of our socials. Other than that, I don't got anything else. As Matt said, we're now using the live stream.
StreamYard.
So we're
StreamYard.
here.
I don't know why I said live stream.
We're streaming live with StreamYard, but we're using that. So if you're listening in podcast form, we appreciate you doing that. The show's a lot of fun to watch live for things like Rate the Great, and even other bullshit. Sometimes Kate dresses up when she feels like not being Hollywood, and she can dress up for us too. This show's a lot of fun to watch. So you can go back if you didn't watch us live. The videos are on Facebook. They're on our YouTube now, so you can go back and watch anything whenever you want. So be sure to check us out there. Feel free to rate and subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening. Leave us reviews on Facebook, anything like that. Whatever you want to do, we appreciate you guys, and anywhere else you guys want to kind of spread the word and help us out, we truly appreciate it. So I don't know, Schlong, Matt, a lot of fun tonight. I think we're done.
I learned what Migos was.
Who's Migos?
Offset, Takeoff, and Quavo.
Quavo, close enough. I'll take it.
Quavo. Wonder what their most popular song is. I'm not gonna play it on here. We will get a copyright strike and
no.
Pure Water.
I don't know. All I know is that when I
Walk It, Talk It.
All I know is that when I went to Vegas, they were playing somewhere and you couldn't have gum, and I was like, "There's no way I'd be at this show. They wouldn't let you in if you had gum."
Well, did you see the Migos' hair? If you got gum in them braids, it's a wrap, son. They got cut all them braids off.
I don't even know if they've done anything recently now thinking about Migos. I was having this conversation with someone the other day. It seems like a lot of these rappers and these groups, like, they're hot for like a few months and then they're gone. Like, and they never put anything out again.
They dropped an album in 2021 with songs featuring Drake, featuring Cardi B, whoever Polo G is, The Future, Justin Bieber, Juice WRLD.
I know Juice WRLD. I think he's dead.
Juice is dead? Pop Smoke?
I think so.
Featuring
Pop Smoke.
Young Boy Never Broke Again. Is that one person? What is this shit?
I have no
what is
idea.
this garbage nonsense that you people listen to?
Pop Smoke might be dead.
It's all
there were
trash.
A couple guys.
It's all trash.
Listen, I don't listen to Migos, but I know who they are because I'm part of the, cultural milieu.
All right, don't use your fancy language with me, okay? If it ain't fucking murder or sports or wrestling, I don't know anything about it.
Matt, where's Brian Laundrie?
They're looking for him, brother.
Where is he, though?
I don't know. Did they find him?
I think he's dead. No, I think he's dead.
You think he killed himself?
He's not dead. He's not dead.
You don't think he's dead? You don't think he fell in the Everglades with the alligators?
I don't think he killed himself. Maybe he's dead by accident, but I don't think you go through all this effort just to kill yourself. You do that at home.
Yeah, but that's no fun.
I don't think so.
You got someone else has to clean up your mess?
Yeah.
Maybe he's considerate and he just jumped off a fucking cliff.
Listen, all I know is I want Dog the fucking bounty hunter to find him.
That guy's a circus clown. He couldn't find his fucking wallet if it was in his back pocket.
I'll tell you one thing. After his fifth wife or sixth wife, Beth, died, he found a new wife very quick.
She wanted that Dog the bounty hunter money.
Oh, it was over by then, my friend. That was all done.
You think he's not getting any residuals for that feathered wolf hair he keeps rocking? You think some person really wants their fucking hair to look like that all the time?
No, but where would you get residuals from? He doesn't have a show anymore.
He gets fucking Pantene Pro-V sending him checks. Just fucking Dog the bounty hunter hair.
The Pantene Pro-V. He doesn't use that mane and tail?
No. It's too fancy for him.
That's too fancy, but Pantene Pro-V. Oh, man. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. Guys, a lot of fun tonight.
Look, if Asian Joe really wants this to become a true crime podcast, I mean, we could talk about fucking what the fuck is his name? God damn it.
Boy, it is
my
over.
tongue. No, it's on the tip of my tongue. He was a wrestler. He went to jail for being a petter-ass. I know that's very basic, and there's a lot of people who fall under there. Buck Zumhoff.
Buck Zumhoff.
Yeah, you know Buck Zumhoff.
I don't know anything. We're gonna have to have a special episode of the Mark Order podcast.
You're talking about all the Buck Zumhoff, Ken Patera. He spent time in jail. Sonny. Billy Jack Haynes claims he killed somebody.
Oh, I don't know why this made me think of it, but last week's Dark Side of the Ring about Chris Canyon, fantastic, and sad, very sad,
Yep.
but well done episode. And this week is tomorrow. Do you remember which one it is, Matt? It's
FMW, baby.
That's it. FMW. That should be a great episode. I know that that's like nothing to do with what we're really focused on AEW, but man, it'll be fucking great to see that episode.
Yeah, I'll be geeked up for that. Those were my go-to tape trading days, finding them FMW shows.
Man, that'll be a lot of fun. All right, let's get out of here. And gentlemen, it was a lot of fun. We'll, I guess, be back next week, yeah?
Yes, we'll be back to do another episode of the Mark Order podcast following AEW Dynamite. And again, follow us at Mark Order Pod on all forms of social media for all your All Elite Wrestling information, shenanigans, nonsense, and people playing dress up. Is that it? Is that goodbye?
So schlong and good night.
Goodbye and good night.
This concludes the Mark Order podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join the Mark Order.